Let's
Go!
go! Good luck,
Yeah.
guys.
Good luck,
Get out of
guys.
here.
All right, so as the runners are unplugged from our call, they will focus on the run. And it's me and Ben Pigeon, your commentators for the next. How long do you think this will take, Pigeon?
I think we're gonna be about 2 hours. I see Corazza doing
Yeah.
it in about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Other runners a bit slower,
Which
I
would
think.
be pretty fast for a normal hitless run, but a
Yeah.
normal hitless run without leveling up is quite nutty. Now, something quite special happens in Dark Souls 2 when you actually begin your character. You're not even level 1, you're actually level 0. So you're going to see that all of our runners have essentially a 0 in every stat person until they get to the character creator, and then they need to choose a class. They will of course be going for the Deprived, and Deprived is the one class in Dark Souls 2 that starts without any weapon, unlike other games. And there's quite a few other things in the game that make the level 1 run very, very challenging. You want to talk us through some of the difficulties that are unique to Dark Souls 2?
I mean, there's many difficulties. To be honest with you, the one that I find the most difficult when I'm doing this run is actually endurance. I find that I just run out of stamina so much.
Really?
You can only get like 2 hits off with the
That is
mace
true.
before you start
Yeah.
like getting wrecked. But obviously the big one, you've got no attunement and no adaptability, which means you've only got 5 iframes during your rolls instead of like a normal like
Okay.
11 or whatever that you get
For
on Dark
none,
Souls 3.
it's funny that you should mention stamina because it's kind of my baseline. So for me, it didn't feel weird, but it's true. In other games, you can roll millions of times, and here you do 2 rolls and you're already out of stamina. And there is
Yeah.
a very punishing delay in your stamina recovery if you lose all of it. As you mentioned, the lack of attunement means that you cannot use spells, which in Dark Souls 1, being level 1 spells are really, really strong, right? They don't scale of anything. That's not the case in Dark Souls 2. You cannot do them freely. And yeah, you mentioned there's very little iframes on the roll, which is true, but there's also no iframes when you go through fog gates, which is unique to Dark Souls 2, I believe. There's no iframes while you are reposting, so you're not safe doing that either. And I know at least one very important run was lost that way. The fall damage in this game is a lot more punishing, so you need to be very careful as well. And it all gets more and more difficult from here. But there are also some unique things that do help soul level 1 characters keep up with a normal player that would be leveling stuff up. So as we can see, we're at the hub of the world. This is Majula. And one of our runners is already going for the Tower of Hyde, which is a completely optional area to run in terms of this run. But there are very good reasons why we run here.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the splits on here, and it looks like Dolos is not doing Dragon Rider, and I don't think
Mhm.
Corazza is by the looks of things. So it looks like we're only going to have 2 runners that are going there, just to grab
Really?
some, yeah, just to grab those souls, get the quick and easy kill on Dragon Rider, get a couple
Mhm.
things, get some skulls for Forest. Looks like Corazza is just running with no skulls, which will be very interesting to see. I look
Yeah.
forward to that.
And on the bottom left, we see a very interesting way to kill the
Early
merchant.
morning kill.
And yeah, we this is I believe it is pretty much a necessity to kill this merchant at soul level 1. I could be wrong, but he drops a very, very important set of armor that increases the souls you get. With these souls, you will be able to reach a particular threshold of souls that will allow you to unlock the second half of the game. Without this set, you would need to kill an extra boss here or there, and it would be quite challenging. And obviously,
Oh,
for the cost of killing one NPC, so it's not too difficult.
I think it'd be more than a boss or two. I
Yeah,
think you'd
I
have
think it
a
would be.
real
It would
problem
be.
because it,
Yeah,
it
no,
adds up.
it would have to be like a fifth rotten. I
I
think
think maybe even
at
six,
least.
to be
Oh,
honest. I think
damn.
so. 'Cause it's an extra
Yeah.
22.5%
And on
overall.
the top left, we're about to see the first Dragon Rider. And by carefully waiting for his approach and using his scripted attack, we make him
Ooh.
fall off. And this is why this completely optional boss is so popular. If you blinked and you missed it, it's gonna happen again soon, right?
Yeah, we'll get another one in just a moment here. You guys get a second bite of the cherry.
pretty delicate part of the run. So killing her does have some advantages, but the main one is that she doesn't show up as an NPC. You also get some souls, and you could even unlock or get her rotunda to unlock some other area. But I don't think that will come into play.
No.
It's really risky to hit her with fist. I always feel like it's
I don't
it's
know.
very slippery.
Yeah, I think it's easy to make a mistake. You can bonk off the wall quite
Yeah,
easily if you get her in an awkward position.
yeah.
Range is a bit trash, but uh, you know, Faint Finger on your
Trying to
back,
be a
making it
chameleon and
look
keep up
easier.
with everything. We're gonna see one of our players going for this optional set of magic urns, which will help kill some early boss. We see on the left now also how the alluring skulls are an absolutely unbelievably useful item in this run. Early on, you can throw them, and we're gonna see it happen maybe again soon. And they are basically a distraction for low level enemies. In this game, they do not work against higher level enemies, but as you can see, it distracts the lower level mobs just enough for him to be able to run through and not be shot in the back.
Yeah, a sneak bust. I think it's worth pointing out that Baryon has actually done
Mhm.
Trilogy SL1, so
Wow.
he's using his route from that. So I'm expecting quite a consistent run from him.
Would you be brave enough to rank Dark Souls in terms of difficulty compared to the other games? Because it seems to me like Dark Souls 1 doesn't change all that much at level 1 since you have such a strong weapon, or is that just my
Mm,
my wrong
I
interpretation?
think if we were to rank the three games any percent in difficulty, I think Dark Souls 2 would be the easiest. But
Fun.
if we were to do Dark Souls, if we were to considering Dark Souls Trilogy SL1,
Mhm.
I think Dark Souls 2 is the hardest.
Wow.
I think this changes enough of that it's yeah, it's a big deal. You know, in DS3 you've got like what your broadsword and stuff, which does
Yeah.
some really good damage. DS1 you've got the big hammer. In this you've
So
got the mace, which doesn't have great range or amazing damage. So
in terms of weapons, we can already tell that Corazza and the rest of the gang will be going for the extremely trusty hand axe. And we also saw him, Corazza, that is, pick up a light crossbow. I don't know if this will be a consistent choice across everybody, but it is a very, very good option because the normal bow without some particular upgrades. Oh, I love that little run and jump into the enemy
mm.
to stagger him. That's brilliant. There's basically no other range weapon that is usable at level 1 other
Chris
than the
just
light
barely
crossbow.
got through the fog gate there. I actually made a strat for Forest where you can get
Yeah.
through it about 99% consistently without a single
Wow.
skull.
No way.
And yeah, and Chris took the riskiest skull there to skip, but he's made it through, so that's good. We got Last Giant on the bottom already.
And getting extra souls for the top 2 runners will be made up for later because they have that little bit of extra stuff. Here we killed the merchant again, this time with a mace. I imagine that will be the weapon of choice going forward. It could be. What weapon would you like to run for your level 1 run? There's quite a few options here.
I mean, I think it depends. If I was to do like no upgrades, I'd probably want to go with the Puzzling Stone Sword from Shulva.
Oh, yeah.
But with upgrades, I think Mace and the is it
Wait! We are
Ceaseless?
seeing them kill the the Emerald Herald. You know what? It's so silly, but I never thought. I guess that if you're not gonna level up, you have no need for her, so you might as well take the free infinite
Yeah,
bone,
free
homeward bone.
bones.
That's actually really heartbreaking. Can we count that as a hit? We might
I
have
think
to
we
ask
can
the
take that as
organizer.
an emotional hit, emotional damage.
We now see on Karatsa's size the meaning behind these blue urns that he went out of his way to pick up. Seems like a pretty safe thing to do to get rid of these guys without having to get close and personal. They are pretty nasty.
Yeah, and as Dolos was saying in the sort of pre-game interview, that there
Mhm.
is a chance that these enemies do catch up to you at the fog gate here. It's if you bait the first enemy in there, it's actually things
Okay,
can
so we're
really
gonna see our
spiral.
first pursuer kill, and don't even look back. Don't even look back. It's damn style points. That's wonderful. On the top
Beautiful.
left, we do see the completely optional mini boss being killed, and this drops a really important item called the Stone Ring that will make staggering and stunning the enemies and stun locking them even a little bit more consistent. I'm not sure how many enemies benefit from it, like how usable it is in this run, but if they do have it as part of the route, I imagine it must be useful.
Yeah, I think it doesn't get a great deal of value in this run, but maybe like Dragon Lake, Amana, and
Mhm.
Crypt. I think that's probably maybe Dragonary as well. I
Yeah,
think
it
that's
also works.
maybe
It
like
also works with the arrows and even the spells, which is one thing that's not immediately obvious. You can make an enemy hit them with an arrow, and instead of giving them like a very very unnoticeable stagger, you actually bring them down to a halt, and it's really useful.
yeah. Ooh, damn! Dollars just barely making it past some enemies there on the way to
Yeah.
Pursuer.
Okay, we're gonna
Oh,
Um,
very
see
close.
I want to
once
quickly
again.
intervene and mention on the close-ups, you seem to have had no audio. That should be fixed now. Sadly,
Oh,
didn't
okay.
recognize it in time, but thank you for telling me.
Okay, was
I
that
think
another clean pursuer kill? I believe so.
yeah,
We see some items drop, some inventory rearrangement. Last giant, by the way, extremely aggressive kill. It's lovely to see from FaintFigureInBlack, who's not. They've been relentless. It's been awesome.
yeah. It's on your team as well, so
Yeah, it
even
makes
more
me
to root
really,
for.
really happy to see it. Yeah, it's awesome. And I also think that Feint is the only character that has a bit of customization going on. You cannot pre-save
Oh,
your presets. So it's the
we
only
got a
character that
ginger.
looks a little bit different. I like it. I personally like it.
Yeah, a bit of flair.
It does, spice the run up a little bit. Makes you if you care about the character you create, you're less likely to get hit. I believe that. That's why I spent a good minute or
That
two in the
works for you.
character creator. That's right. Uh-huh.
Didn't you make a macro for?
No, no, I don't think. Well,
No?
yeah, I did, but like I just memorized it. Like I just had
Oh
muscle
wow.
memory. I could do it in like 30 seconds because I had done it for like months. But yeah, it was really fun. I personally really enjoyed it. We see now the third, if not fourth, instance of us killing the poor merchant just for their armor. And fun enough,
Ooh.
the armor, each of the
Paint figure
pieces
in black
has
might
its
get
own.
caught here. It was a bit of a bad line, but he gets away with it actually. Sorry,
Wow.
that was kind of close.
Yeah, and let's not forget that they have very tiny iframes. This is a very precise dodge that they have to do, and there's almost no room for mistake. And so far, we've had three perfect instances of that being played. Look at
Yeah,
that jaw-dropping
yeah.
drop into the well of Majula with 1 HP left. Oh my god, the fall damage in Dark Souls 2. Why would you do that? It's done so quickly and it just hurts. And this particular thing, oh no, I can't watch that. Oh, dear lord.
Flawless,
Why would you
flawless.
I do think there's a safer way to do that, but it's not as fast and it's not stylish. Well done. Well
Yeah,
done by
there you go.
LCorazza.
Couldn't have
And
said it better.
this is our final I believe last shine that we're gonna see.
Yep,
Nice
it's the
shot.
last giant. In fact,
The actual final giant, but we'll see another 4 later anyway. Don't think about that too hard. All right, so the guard is being sped through by our fastest runner so far. I watch out because in this part, you see that little M1 or R1 attack he did. That is
Mm,
perfectly thought out because if you go too far, you can actually fall to your death. There's also plenty of poisonous statues here. You saw some of them in the background that can hit you if you don't do the perfect routing. So this is a very delicate area, and I'm very interested in seeing how such an aggressive player deals with it. Let's see. They get a
some
poisonous
goop.
dong that will be useful later. Love to see that being part of the run. We didn't talk about this, but Dark Souls 2 has possibly the strongest poison in the series. Watch out, there's another spitting. Oh, multiple spitting statues. That jump right there, if not done perfectly, can end in your death. And this game loves to make your jumps cut short due to a number of reasons. So that is actually a lot harder than it looks. And just like that, they are past the hardest bit in the gutter. Now they break one of those pesky statues that can shoot at you, and they wait for this enemy to show up, shoot him with the crossbow. Perfect.
Not grabbing
And
the poison arrows though, so I assume the only state of poison we're gonna get is from these dung pies.
wow, really? Yeah, he gets more dung pies here, which is the strong type of poison. Wow. And he's confident dropping there, and we'll take some damage here and some durability damage, but it's not enough to kill us because we have the cat ring,
Hmm.
which we
And
had to buy with all those souls we just earned.
Dolos is actually taking a bit of a different route from everyone else by the looks of things, heading
Oh
to
yeah,
Shaded Woods. I
yeah. I
suppose he's
mean,
just getting Thorny Ring, RTSR, and
yeah. This is something that the other runners
maybe
will
plus 10.
eventually have to do. I guess the difference here is the order, and maybe grabbing certain items out of order could be beneficial. But yeah,
Hmm.
we throw some more
I,
allurance skulls to make it through here safely. We see, oh my god, we almost blinked, and the follow up area to the gutter has already been completed by Corazza. And meanwhile,
yeah.
the last pursuer there is killed. Now, because some of the other players didn't look back, you might have not seen what happened, but you use a ballista to kill that big boss. And with a certain setup, you line it up and just kill it in 2 shots. Much harder to do than it looks. And if he attacks you, the ballista is broken and it's a reset. So it is tricky.
I
Wait,
would I'm wondering whether doing Rotten this early is actually faster. I think Dolos
yeah.
might actually have a slightly faster route because he's going to go get his upgrades and get stronger and
Mhm.
then fight the Rotten.
Yeah.
Normally in traditional speedruns you do Rotten first because it gives you souls to level up, but
Right.
obviously we don't
Yeah,
need to do any of that.
that's
So
what I was thinking as well. There is no, you're not gonna be that stronger, so you might as well get the upgrades you need. Well, yeah, this does throw a bit of a wrench in our commentary because it's so out of order with everybody else. But essentially, in Dark Souls 2, you need to make it to Dranglake Castle, and to do that, you need to beat 4 big bosses. So that would obviously be very difficult and take a lot of time. But there's an alternative way, and that is if you get 1 million total souls in your soul history, you can actually access that. So what you're seeing right now is one of our players already at one of these big 4 bosses, and he's gonna beat it 4 times. He's gonna revive it with a certain item called the bonfire ascetic, and he'll kill it so many times that he gets so many souls that when he reaches 1 million, he can skip to the second half of the game straight away. And this is something that we'll see all of our players do because it is by far the best, most consistent strategy. But of course, here our surprise comes from the fact that it's done so early.
mm, yeah, I like that we're seeing these enemies in Bastille dispatched with the mace.
Yeah,
The mace stuns these jailers with 2 R1s, so it's pretty easy to get a stun lock on them, but you have to know their moveset to know where to
funnily
strafe.
enough,
So
though. Oh no! Okay, we have a problem here. We have a problem here. On Fame Figure in
oh,
Black has dropped down the barrel to break a part of the wall and get to the next area, but the barrel did not explode and he could not blow it up with an arrow. And not only that, I think it's rolled outside of view. He's now going to have to deal with the dogs and try to keep that barrel from being broken accidentally by oh, please do not break that barrel.
he might be okay.
Oh, oh, do not break the barrel. Yeah, manual aim, manual aim. Good boy, go around the barrel. If that barrel breaks, it is quite a setback. Oh, manual aim because you don't trust the lock on. You don't trust dogs in particular in any of the Souls
In
games.
Souls
But
games, no,
yeah,
none of them.
and unfortunately, the faster way couldn't happen, but it was handled really well. Now,
Yeah,
do we
yeah,
see
a good
on
backup
maybe
strat.
on Baryon's screen what it looks like when it's done fast? Yeah, on Baryon's, no, it also didn't
No,
break.
no, he's doing my strat where you push the barrel down and then just run back
That's
and kill
really,
the
really
guy.
good. I love
Nice.
that as well.
Is
Meanwhile,
Dolos
Dolos
stream
is
frozen
deep
for anyone
into
else?
the shaded woods, and here you can find a lot of souls to quickly level up. And also, I think one of the chunks to upgrade weapons. That might be why we see him bait one of the invisible enemies. That's my guess because if I remember correctly, we do get a chunk in that chest.
Yeah, yep. One
Oh,
chunk and a petrified dragonbone.
oh, and magic bolts as well, which are hard to come by. Funnily enough, the the main way to upgrade your weapons becomes really, really difficult without coming to this other blacksmith. And in the original game, it was not available. Oh, we do have a forlorn? Did I see that right?
Ooh.
Yeah, Dolos has the first instance, I believe, of a random NPC invasion, which can happen in several places throughout the run. There's a chunk that will be useful to upgrade the weapon, and this basically throws a bit of a wrench as well into their plans. They cannot just go away and rest. They need to be extremely careful with the very, very unpredictable AI, and probably go to the boss and either fight the boss if they were planning to do that, or just use a bone to get out. In this case, the H feather.
Yeah,
Oh, but
he's
it seems
dealing
like
with
they're
it
not
quite
too bothered.
nicely.
They're not too
Yeah, he's
bothered. They're
just
going just
going
for
about his day as
souls.
normal. Just go grab
Yeah.
the chunk, you know.
No biggie. Yeah, there's the 5,000 soul. This is the moment where I would expect the NPC to really be here bothering us, but it seems like they've been quite nice. And almost all of them are now converging in the Shaded Woods, which is the next step. Now, are they all going to the Shaded Woods because they're going to kill the congregation? Is that so? Are they all going to go for congregation? Because that is also a part of the run that could be a bit different.
I don't think we're going to see Shulva. It makes me sad
Really?
as a Shulva enjoyer. I don't
Yeah.
think we're going to see Shulva.
Yeah. So we did explain that there are 4 big bosses and that people go for the Rotten. The Rotten is supposed to be the hardest of them all in terms of the souls he gives, but it's actually the easiest and the easiest to get to by far. So that's why he is the one that is killed 4 times to unlock the Dragonglade Castle. However, to kill him 4 times, you need to kill him once and then revive him 3 more times. And to revive him 3 more times, you need 3 bonfire ascetics. One of the ascetics you select as a starting gift, but the other 2 you have to procure elsewhere. And there's 2 main ways to do it. There might be some others, but realistically, there's 2 ways to do it. One of them is to kill the Rotten. That was an extremely close dodge from Dolos. Oh my god, handling this fight super well. And this is a super difficult magic that comes in an unpredictable time, but he instead, oh my god, that is so brilliant. He baited a back slow attack and then run to the front so that he wouldn't have to deal with 2 overlapping attacks in the same direction. That was actually genius improvising and very well handled from Dolos. Extremely well done. But back to our little commentary. Yes, there's 2 ways to get those ascetics, and one of them is to kill the Rotten and then access the DLC after him. And the other one is to kill a couple other bosses that reach a certain other area. And that's what it seems everyone is doing.
Yeah, I think it might be time to do a donation or 2 if you've got the page.
Oh, yeah, I do. Do you want to? I'll read the first one. Just a minute ago, we had Steak is Guile, who donated $25. Extremely generous. Thank you so very much. Someone called Aussie's Bald donated $5. I guess every dollar counts, even the ones from very rude people. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Dirk45 also donated $20. Very, very generous. And just so you guys know, a donation of any amount, even if it calls me or my co-commentator Bald, they are extremely appreciated. So thank you so much for that.
Also, if you hit F5, there may or may not be some new ones. Just so you know.
Oh, okay. I thought it refreshed.
But if you did already, that's good.
Yeah, I got them.
Cool.
I think.
Gotcha. Nice. Yeah, I'm quite impressed. We're nearly half an hour in, and we haven't seen a single hit so far.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we are about to probably get into the hairiest bit, like the part that really, really gets a little bit hairy, and there's a lot of unpredictable moving parts. So if there is going to be a hit early on, I am afraid it could happen right now. On the top right, you might figure out, you might be wondering why our character is banging a bunch of trees in the woods. This attracts some of the invisible NPCs that are roaming. This is an extremely delicate area. It's really scary if you're playing for the first time, and it's even scarier if you know what's in there. And hitting those trees at the appropriate time gets the attention of the invisible enemies so they don't get you. The reason why a runner would want to stop here is for the Chloranthy ring, which helps with stamina regeneration by a lot. And there's also some other rings and some other utilities there that some runners might choose to get.
Yeah, most likely not on a SL1 run, but yeah, those are the 2 main reasons we come here. As you were saying earlier, with ripostes and not giving iframes, I think that's a big problem for one of the bosses coming up here. We're going to see.
In fact,
Nashka into
The
Congregation, you can
yeah.
easily get a backstab by
Do
mistake.
you do you remember the story that happened here on the first Hitless run of Dark Souls 2? Do you know the story?
I don't think so.
Well, a very good friend and runner called McDrunkard was the
Oh, tricky.
first person to beat Dark Souls 2 hitless for the first time. And then, when watching the footage, they realized that during this fight, they went accidentally for a backstab. And during that backstab, an enemy managed to like barely hit them. And when you are in repose in Dark Souls 2, you take like very reduced damage, but you still take damage. So they took like a 1 HP damage. Not too much, but enough to unfortunately have to throw the run away. And that didn't end up being world's first. So yeah, imagine. It is very, very easy to try to attack an enemy and accidentally lock yourself into a backstab. And during that insanely long animation, any incoming hit, it won't kill you, but it will damage you and hit you, and that would obviously count as a hit, multiple depending on your criteria. So yeah, that could be really scary. We see Corazza deal beautifully with Nashka, who's a very nasty boss, by the way, and very, very nerf wrecking. And I guess yeah, again, look, they're all really gonna converge on the woods at least for a little bit.
Yeah, Dolos is slightly ahead because he's already killed Najka. So I assume he probably has the next bonfire here. So
Yeah.
yeah, all runners very, very close, neck and neck.
Uh-oh. We see another instance of the black barrel, powder barrel. Oh, do not do the dog. Oh,
Uh-oh.
please, oh God, oh help me.
What the
I am
dog
suffering
doing?
vicariously. These dogs have a center of gravity like that is like above
Oh
their
my!
body sometimes. And if you aim with a bow, like sometimes you can have this thing where the arrow goes over it. I think that barrel is gone. Unfortunately, that barrel is just it's just stuck there, and it seems the
He
runner
he
agrees with
can
me
roll
because they
into
are
it. He should try that.
no, rolling into it will break it immediately,
No,
sadly.
no, no, no. You can roll into this barrel. It's the only
Really?
barrel in the game. You can roll into it. Yeah.
Wow. Well, he might have benefited from having that information, but I certainly
Oh
didn't have
well.
it. Haven't you had it where a barrel randomly blows up when you roll into them? Did you ever figure out why that
I'm
happens? That happened to me twice.
There's some barrels in the game that explode if you roll into them, but it should be the same barrels every time.
Yeah, I do think that's not one of them.
Should be,
But
I guess.
either way, this game is very unpredictable. Maybe it was for the best. That
Oh, we're seeing the exact same thing that happened to Dolos earlier with
yeah, honestly, dude,
FaintFigureInBlack.
like
Nice.
earlier, one of our runners commented on how far we've come, and I feel like this is such an improvement. I love the way that they take advantage of the casting time to run behind her and bait a bag. That's so smart. I remember when I saw that attack, I
Bone
reset
out.
my fight.
Bone
Like
out.
I would literally just teleport out and just start the fight over because it was so scary. So I love to see new strategies and how the players have continuously gotten better and better. And I believe we are about to witness the fight that we've been waiting for, the Magus and Congregation. This is a mob fight that you're going to see on the bottom right of a bunch of little NPCs, all of which are very, very delicate. This is one of those fights that is completely forgettable. It's really not difficult, but in a no-hit run, it is very, very tricky because you have people crawling, you have people throwing projectiles, you have a caster that can hit you through things. It's really, really scary. And we're going to see how exactly Corazza handles it.
Some
Runs
heavy
to
damage, a stun out of the buff, little cheeky skull.
He went about as far as he could to not get hit, but also not far enough to waste too much time. And a Lawrence Cole to
God, that roll!
that was crazy.
That was really tight timing.
Damn!
Yeah.
I see what you mean now.
Yeah.
Oh my lord! Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, keep in mind that the mace is an extremely low reach weapon. It is like you barely hit an inch in front of you, and it takes a little while. It's not a particularly fast weapon either, so it is so scary to get that close. Look, considering
He's
how
making a
quickly the
really
enemies can attack.
good job of this fight. I can't lie.
Oh my god, he dealt with 3 of them at once. And
Triple hit.
he knows the tracking of that one attack is really bad, so he doesn't need to dodge around it. You can identify very clearly which attack is coming. And I don't think I've seen
Beautiful
this
fight.
before where the mage where the Magus is left for last. That's crazy efficient and extremely well handled by Corazza, who's now gonna be in a much better spot.
Yeah, I think I'll read out a donor or two here. We have a huge 55-55 from Pansparse. Love to all the DS2 enjoyers. Thank you very much.
That's wonderful.
We got a 5 from Duck in Wonderland. Thank you as well. Hobbs Neck has donated as well. Thank you very much to Hobbs Neck. That's a $20.41 donation. And one more from Wood, who says, "Love this community. A big $30. Thank you all very much."
We see Baryon now traversing. Ooh, look at that. It looks like he falls to his death, but no, that's actually a clever shortcut. Picks up an important upgrade material for later, and he is traversing the I was going to say this is the Black Gulch, but no, this is the gutter. And funnily enough, the best way to traverse this place is to go to the opposite corner of where you need to go and then take a little zip line, which is what you're going to see Baryon do in the next few seconds. We're also seeing some upgrade material collection. Ooh,
Very nice
scary fall.
RTSR from Dolos there. I don't know if you saw it. He
Oh,
climbed the ladder and then jumped back down.
no, I didn't catch that.
Very
We
nice.
have another congregation fight. One nasty thing that did happen this fight that did not happen in the previous one is that one of the cleric priests in the white robes actually managed to buff, I believe. If you let that happen, all the enemies, I believe, get a little bit beefier. They probably hit harder and have more HP, and I don't know exactly if that's going to make the rest of this fight a little bit harder. You can
He's
use some of the benches there to tank some hits, but
yeah, he's just dispatching with the crossbow.
oh, that's really scary. This is definitely the way to go, though. Take it easy.
Oh, he's switching to mace.
Nice.
I'm not
It seems
sure.
like he's gotten rid of all of the small ones. He's probably now gonna look to. Oh,
Oh, dude.
nice. Very good judgment there. Very good judgment not to continue the chain of attacks.
Oh, I'm
And
clenched.
yeah, this is actually so tricky. You could keep in mind, these people cannot roll through almost any attack unless their timing is absolutely on point. Nice. He's going to play it safe. And Feint has dealt with this fight. A backstab is
Beautiful.
completely fine as long as it's the last enemy. Meanwhile, Dolos is starting the fight themselves. Wait a minute. Am I seeing Baryon poison himself with dongs?
RTSR setup.
That is okay. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that would be used for something else. I thought you would throw the dongs at some enemy. Oh, it seems like such a precious item to throw away on yourself. But that's okay. I mean, he only has a few of them. Oh, and he's running through the Black Gulch without breaking anything. Let's have a look. Look at all of those insane projectiles flying left and right. Oh my god, players are so brave nowadays. How do you do that? Doing a little jump attack is a signature move that prevents you from doing an accidental roll when you land on a ledge. That's really, really good. That's incredible. Does this have my approval? Somebody asked in the chat. 100%. Everything I've seen today across games it just shows just how adaptable players are and how quickly we learn from each other. It's actually pretty incredible and an amazing thing to see as someone that has been looking at this game for so many years. Wait till I see Dolos' Black Gulch. I am so looking forward. Oh, Dolos does a perfect jumping attack to.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Wait,
We're seeing
right. Hey, that's cool.
Shulva, baby.
That's
okay,
sweet.
I'm sure you guys know, but Shulva is the other route of the any percent. It allows you to get Flynn's Ring, which is plus 50 AR to any weapon that you choose, any melee weapon that you choose, and it also gives you bonfire aesthetics the same way as killing Seldora does. So
also, before we move on, LCorazza just absolutely demolish the Sentinels.
Beautiful strafes. Beautiful strafes.
So basically, we explained that there's multiple choices, and then there's multiple choices, and within those multiple choices, there's another multiple choice. You can beat the Flexstyle Sentry to go for the next item that you need to revive the Rotten a fourth time, or you could kill the Sentinels. And the Sentinels are weak to both lightning and strike. And in Dark Souls 2, more so than other games, the enemy weaknesses are very important. If you bring a pokey weapon to a skeleton fight, you will not beat it. Straight up. You will do so little damage. So even at level 1, these are very, very easily dispatched, and it was awesome to see. We see Dolos pick up the final upgrades that are going to make a weapon already very close to max level. If not max level already. And Baryon's dealing with the Black Culture again. So yeah, one of the people will indeed be going into the DLC, which is an alternative way to get those items to revive the Rotten. So it's going to be exciting that we get to see a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
this one
a bit
has
of
to offer.
diversity.
Yep. Very scary. There you go. Corazza securing the item that he came here for in the first place. We see Dolos buy the cat ring, equip it, and let's see this drop. Look at his health. This is a really, really calculated moment. Ta-da! And if he was wearing one extra piece of equipment, the extra weight does actually matter for fall damage. So
Yeah.
say he forgot to unequip a piece of armor, he probably would have died there, which is crazy.
Yeah, definitely would have died.
Oh, I do not like this. This is so scary.
Also,
Look at the way they do this.
We've just hit 5K with the last couple donations.
No way! That
We've
is
just
a
pushed over
massive
the limit.
milestone.
We're halfway there. Well done, chat.
I am
Congrats,
very proud
everyone.
of you. Thank you so much, anyone that contributed or is thinking about contributing. I understand that, maybe you'll do it later or maybe you can't do it this year, but you being here and supporting this event is helping spread the word and making sure that we get as much fundraising done for such an amazing cause. Did you know that the American Heart Association has invested $5 billion into researching strokes and other heart diseases?
Billion with a B.
With a B.
With
That's a
B.
lot of money.
That's a hell of a lot of money. That's almost as much as I got paid to cast here today.
right. That's almost as much as how many Rottens we're gonna see today. That is lovely. So, of course, the Rotten has many nasty attacks with lingering slow hitboxes. And one thing that you'll see all of these players do is have they're not going to try to dodge through the attack, which frankly is very, very dangerous. Instead, they are very good at outspacing the character and making sure that they walk back and forth so that their hitbox is just never in contact. That
Yeah,
has an
and
added
they have to be
complication
very
with this
careful.
area. Yeah.
Very, very careful with that, because not only is there the Rotten in the arena, but there's also the lava. And as you can see, Corazza is in RTSR range, and that lava does a lot of damage. So
yeah, if you step in
one
that,
step
you
on
die.
that, it's over.
Have you ever had anyone tell you that, oh, it's not lava, it's oil pits that are covered in fire? Did that ever happen to you?
I think I heard that once or twice.
Yeah. Because I'm going to be that guy. I'm just going to bring that up. Yeah, they're just oil pits. All right. They're just oil pits before anyone loses his mind.
But they do more damage.
Oh, we see Baryon, by the way, managed to sever the arm, and Corazza did the same. They severed the arm of the Rotten. And funnily enough, if you cut his arm, he still tries to attack you with it. Oh, both arms cut off. Nice job.
Double amputee Rotten.
Yeah, but they can still hit you. They can still hit you with the missing hitbox. At least if you're close enough. It's a bit strange though. You shouldn't be too relaxed. On the top right, we should see Faint now about to reach the Sentinels. The Sentinels is a really fun fight. We saw it happen briefly, but now we're going to see it from the start. So if you want to get your attention or go full screen on this, you're going to see that when you go in, you immediately drop onto a platform. And in this platform, there's one of the Sentinels. What will happen is you can fight them one-on-one, but if you drop down because you have to dodge or you panic, the other two will immediately join. The other two will also immediately join if you kill it. So there's actually a bit of a strategy to make sure that you don't deal with them one-on-one. Oh, we're doing so much damage though at level 1. Oh, yeah. Goodness gracious.
So yeah,
in other runs, when you're a bit scared, you can try to damage the second one to get him to come a little bit sooner and then deal with them one-on-one. But it's pointless. Like, we're doing so much damage here. It's really not going to matter. And much of it comes from just the weaknesses.
Yeah, the weaknesses, the +6 weapon I believe we've got here, or +10 weapon actually we've got here already, Bright Bug, everything, all added up. If you do this fight energy +7, then that's really the only time that you need to get the attention.
We do see a slight miscalculation from Feint, who unfortunately
Oh
will take what I believe is 2 hits, one in the face and one in the back after falling down. That's really unfortunate.
no!
Oh, you that can be played a little bit safer. You saw the first time the enemy climbed in, he narrowly dodged it, but the second time, oops.
Yeah, he just didn't stand quite close enough to the corner of the arena there. It's only the one hit. The second hit was that you saw was from full
Yeah,
damage. He's not
yeah,
got Gatling
it
on.
is. Yeah, I do believe we have special rules in place to make sure that there's no, like, if it's one mistake, it will count as one hit.
Yeah.
So since Feint is team odds, I am very happy to see those rules applied. And we see another fight going on. Let's see if Dolos can show us the textbook way of doing this without getting hit at all. Do we see them use the? Yep, there you go. Lovely. I don't believe these guys have a hitbox for the head, but that was just more than enough. Oh, keep in mind, very low iframes, so that had to be very precise, and it's very easy to mess it up, especially if you're used to
Mm.
normal gameplay.
That attack is nasty.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
Yeah, because it also loops a little bit on the back. I do think with good judgment or runner there decided not to commit to the final hit. This is very easy to forget, and I think I just remembered. But in Dark Souls 2 at least, I don't remember other games, if your stamina is lower, you do deal less damage. It's only a
Yeah.
little bit, but it's enough to throw you off. So say an enemy has 100 health and you do 35, you do 35, and then you do 29 and the enemy is still alive and you don't understand why and you get hit.
Yep.
So that would be a really nasty thing that was very well avoided by the careful planning. And on the top left, we see Baryon breaking into the DLC. Tell us about it, Pigeon.
Oh, Shulva, my absolute favorite. What you can expect here is a lot of really beefy enemies that
Yeah,
have some really nasty attacks.
yeah.
And some basically some puzzles, some platforming. They
Yeah,
have to
this
get
this
through.
this
Lots of
DLC
traps.
is so amazing. It's almost like a Tomb Raider level where you have to unlock certain things. The enemies here are at a much higher level. You would be expected to be like level, I don't know, 70, 80, or 90,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, easily,
Like
easily.
they are very nasty. Here we see a dragon that luckily won't bother us very much. So direct combat is not really an idea. We are here to simply breeze through the area and try to get the item after running a few corridors. Never mind what I just said. Baryon just buff his weapon, or I guess he's gonna kill every living thing down here.
Ooh.
I guess
Yeah,
this first enemy is.
that's
Oh,
that's some tight damage.
okay. Yeah. Just keep in mind that if you miscalculate, or if your stamina doesn't regenerate as fast as you thought, or if you didn't equip a certain ring that you had equipped previously when you practice, all of these things are very delicate. You do not have a lot of time or resources to to really make any mistake. So yeah, by killing that enemy, I guess he made this a little bit safer. And we now have to get to a bonfire that is pretty high up and needs also to be unlocked by shooting at certain moving targets. It's quite, I don't know exactly how they'll deal with this, but it's always fun to watch. We see a projectile being spit from behind. They know about it and they dodge it. Ooh, we hit the switch. And so far, is this going with your normal strategy? It is, right?
Yeah, there's two different routes to getting this pillar up. It's either the one that we've seen just here, or there's a little corner you can sort of wedge yourself into and shoot a bow
Right.
over the top and
That
just
was
about get it.
that was successful. That is probably the trickiest part. But the next one can actually have a invader come in,
Mhm.
so that's going to be scary. I've also been told that Dolos has an insane strategy for the Black Gulch, which is right about to come up. So if we could go full screen on them, that would be awesome. If not, we'll just be focusing on a particular part of the screen. All right. So this is the area that has about 1 billion spitting statues. Each of them will shoot a little bit of poison really quickly if you run in front of it. And for a normal playthrough, dodging, running through and dodging is almost unthinkable. It's like a 1 in 1 million. But once you know the precise placement of everything, I guess you can do this. Let's have a look. That was beyond impressive. Well done. Now an invader comes
And then
in,
jump.
so we are a little bit under time. We need to make sure that we deal with this and remove this little NPC and hit the bonfire before the invader, who is like, oh, what is happening? Oh my god, there's one of the baddies out there. What? How? When? Holmes? Oh, excuse. Was that part of the plan? Tell me that wasn't part of the plan. Why did that monster follow up? Did he grow too close? Did he get too close to that?
No,
Was that just?
that's the strat. Yep.
That's the strategy.
Yeah, the
Okay.
monster doesn't attack you. It's just barely out of its like leash range or something.
Now he's dipping his toes in lava to be lower health, which will trigger a particular ring that does increase his damage rate. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely bonkers. And now I'm really interested in seeing the rest, but also I want to see Baryon's route through Shoba, because this is a really scary part. He's now going through a, well, we don't know exactly the order that he's going to follow, but he wants two things from this area. Pigeon already explained that we get the Flint Ring, which is a massive help. It is a massive increase in damage, and honestly, almost worth the visit to this DLC alone. But also, obviously, the aesthetics that allow us to kill the Rotten multiple times. That's why Baryon will not have to beat some other bosses that or other fans have been doing.
I will say as well, LCorazza is already in Drangleic. 4 Rottens are dead, and this man is just
When
zooming.
did that happen? Chat, do you like count Rottens?
Was anybody counting the Rottens?
I think he shitted it. I think we might need to get the ref on that. I think he only killed like one. This is a lot run.
VAR.
Very interesting play from Baryon there. So there's a precise place where if you aim upwards and aim a certain way, and then you throw a firebomb, you hit a switch. And this switch is very convenient. It opens up this place right here, essentially. Or an escape from it, rather. And allows you to get that ring.
This has got to be one of the scariest rooms in the DLC for sure. Other than the fact that there's like 3 forlorns that can spawn between here and the start, as well as the ghost chasing you if you want to lure that.
Wow. Well,
and I think we've got a moment here where we're not going to see a boss. So I don't know if you want to just ping off a couple more donos.
We had a very lovely and supportive dono from someone called Dolos6331. I agree. And it contributed $25 to an amazing cause. So thank you so much. We also had Sir Gideon Offner find the all-knowing woman. She hides in a cave to the west of the Laskia ruins, which just from the mist-shrouded lake of Lyria. She knows the location of the. I cannot voice act for the life of me, but thank you. Deadeye also contributed. Thank you so much, Deadeye. Any DS2 enjoyers in the chat, thank you for your donation. And Soups donated a bunch of money. Thank you so much for that. And said, love you all. What a lovely sentiment. Ilitra, I don't know if I caught that, but thank you for the $5 if we didn't catch it before. Thank you so much. Very brave route through Drangleic Castle, which is about the halfway point of the run. We see LCorazza just absolutely destroy these petrified enemies. And this next bit is pretty scary. There's a petrified enemy that you have to kill, but he is very resilient. And I want to... They're not even resting at the bonfire? Oh my god. Well, never mind. They die in 2 hits.
Yeah. Again, strike damage really strong against those enemies, so
that's right.
Able to. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, normally you would bring a rapier here, which is so strong against everything else, but really struggles against these guys for some reason. Yeah. Let's keep in mind, guys, that this is such a much harder run as it gets further and further into it, especially the final Rottens and the later half bosses. They have so much more HP, and you do not have those upgrades. But there's at least a couple things that are going to help us, and a few buffs that are going to help keep things even. Still, though, really impressive.
And we've got a forlorn that we're having to just run past here on Faint screen. He's going straight to the bonfire, straight to the boss gate. Sorry.
That's so scary when that happens. It's notice that Faint knows exactly which of the statues do not actually shoot. Some of them are like fakes, and I find that really fascinating. So Baryon got the item that he needed, and now he's back for those aesthetics. Faint is fighting Rotten number God knows what at this point, very bravely rolling into it.
Yeah,
which I don't.
this is his strat. You were saying earlier, I didn't want to spoiler it, but this is his what he does. He just runs in his face and just
Yeah.
rolls
So
and
I mean,
rolls.
you know what? I would feel more comfortable doing that because it's true. Like that timing is very difficult, but you don't
Mm.
have to worry about stepping into lava accidentally. And personally, I like to focus more on what's in front of me rather than my environment. But there are people that are different. Every runner has their own quirks. Some people are very good at keeping track of their surroundings. So that seems to be more. Oh, by the way, Korat says, how did he at the Dranglade first boss? And we saw that he handled that first half, which is the harder bit, super well. Fun fact: back when Dark Souls 2 no hit tournaments were popular, this was the most popular boss where people got hit.
Oh, really? That surprises
Yeah,
me.
yeah. Back when Mac Raptor was running the tournaments, and I do think it's because it's an easy boss, but it's also an easy boss to mess up, and it's an easy
Yeah.
boss to mess up when
You think people just think it's
yeah.
easy, let's not practice it, and just sort of overlook it almost?
Yeah, it's one of those bosses where when something goes wrong, you need to start improvising super quick, and there's no way to bail out. Now there's basically two armored enemies, and one of them, if everything goes well, you kill in just a few hits, and then you deal with the other one on one, which is pretty easy. But if you can't, well, now you have two of them that attack you at the same time, and good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe if you had some iframes, that might be okay, but yeah, SL1,
Oh,
that becomes even more of a
hold up.
problem.
Koraza's having a bit of trouble because he should be killing. Oh, watch out! That could be a hit! No! No! Oh, that was very regrettable. Okay,
You can see that hurts.
yeah. Oh, like it's so hard to know what was the right move. So he did try to. These are one of the nastiest enemies in the run, if not the nastiest NPC mob type enemy in the run. And there's two of them, and you need to kill one of them, but you need to kill them on a specific place for their soul to be absorbed by the elevator, so the elevator starts working. And you're going to see it again. Unfortunately, the first shot was a miss. The second shot was a miss. And Kodatsa unfortunately decided to bone out. One problem, you don't have any iframes, and it takes about 5.3 years, like 3 to 5 business days to start the thing. So
Yeah,
notice that he does a little roll there to get the attention of the enemy, which is really interesting. I hadn't seen that before. This is a ghost that he just kills with a couple hits, no biggie. And he's now going to try to kill him again. And hopefully everything goes well this time, but this is real scary. There it is. I'm pretty sure that that's what should have happened normally. These enemies don't have a head, but they do have a head hitbox. So, ooh, did that
yeah.
kill it?
You know yourself with these enemies, they do not behave. You know, you can
They are
yearn and they don't go to them.
no.
You can shoot in a
They
straight line
are
and they suddenly jolt off to one way. It's
yeah,
yeah.
they're just absolutely erratic in their behavior. They seem to have like very long actions and they'll queue one action after another in very strange, bizarre ways. So I'm not surprised to see a hit here. It's sad, but it's not surprising because it generally is one of the nastiest parts of the run. And there's almost no way to consistently do it. You need to bring it out and kill it in a specific spot. There's no way to do that safely.
Yeah, and I think you might have missed it, but we had Invisible Rotten on Faint screen.
No way.
Yeah,
That is oh,
legendary.
oh no. Do we just let the legend live or do we explain it? Chat,
I
what do you want to see? Do you want to understand the problem with the invisible rotten?
I
Or
think you have to be there, right?
would you rather let it be a mystery? Tell. All right. So, as we explained, we need to kill the rotten 4 times with a specific set of rings and clothes to get 1 million souls. When you get 1 million souls, you unlock the castle, which is where our friend Koratsa is at right now. However, when you kill the rotten, you have to go back to the bonfire and use one of the ascetics that we've talked about to revive him and then kill him again. But once you've done that like 2 or 3 times, your brain just, it's all mushy. You don't really know who you are anymore and you forget to do it. So sometimes you will kill the rotten, you'll go back to the rotten and you have forgotten to
You have forgotten the rotten.
you have forgotten the rotten and you have gotten a bit bamboozled by your own stupidity. So yeah, then in that case, the the boss's room is completely empty. And in order to not immediately deal with our own stupidity, us runners started making the joke that, oh, it's just the invisible rotten glitch. Oh, it's just there. Oh no, I need to back out, guys. How did this happen? Oh no.
Yeah, really unfortunate RNG. Need to bone out.
Yeah, beyond my control. Oh, it was a golden split. Shame, shame, shame. So yeah, here we see the two styles in Feint and Baryon. Baryon steps out of the way. Feint stays super close within arm's reach. And look at that. He attacks even when that oil is so close. Oh man. It is I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve. This is so difficult to watch. Well done though. And Corazza is gonna go to one of the coolest enemies in base Dark Souls 2, the
Yeah,
Mirror Knight.
He's not even going to use Brightbug.
Oh, he forgot to buff, guys. Someone tell him to buff. Someone tell him to buff right now. Oh, he remembered. All right, so that's a bit of a joke, but you can actually buff, and it's part of the setup to trick this character into doing a series of moves that can actually result in a somewhat permanent stun lock. Look at that.
Yep.
We'll see it
Mirror Knight
again, so
AI loop.
we'll have other chance. Yeah, we
This is,
put this guy into a deadlock.
This would definitely be like one of the maybe second hardest boss in the run. And he has some incredibly hard moves to dodge, especially on SL1. But yeah, this just having barely enough damage, like LCorazza's showing, allows you to just...
Keep in mind, we have about, how many? 3 or 4 things to increase our damage. We have the red tier stun ring, which on Dark Souls 2 is not as high as Dark Souls 1. So I think it's plus 25 or plus 20 as opposed to plus 50.
Yep.
Then we have the Ring of Blades. Then we have the body buff, which are limited. And then we have the weapon buff. So it's a lot of things to do damage. But without that, or if you run out of those things, this AI loop is not as easy. And God forbid you somehow mess it up and you have to do the fight. As Pigeon mentioned, I think I do agree. He would be probably the second hardest fight in the entire game if you had to do it like legit, like normally. Because he has very slow attacks, very slow hitboxes that go through you very slowly, that are almost impossible to dodge. He has attacks that look similar but don't end the same way. He has attacks that sometimes have a follow-up and sometimes do not. It's really, really interesting. And Dolos is about to reach the Dranglade Castle, taking some liberties here, some damage. There are some invisible enemies here, and they're never far away from you. They can always do a little cheeky roll into a stab. So I have massive respect for these players for going through this. When you're very nervous, and it's very easy to be in a run like this on an event like the one we have today, the temptation to just take it slow must be there, but they still brave through it and do it really, really fast.
Yeah, we did see a hit just a moment ago on Feint's screen again. Just a slam from Rotten.
Oh, really?
Unfortunately, yeah. It must have just stammed out or something like that, or just barely the roll was...
The thing is, like, it is a battle of endurance, the Rotten. You have to make a lot of correct decisions a lot of times over the course of 4 fights. So any one hit that happens here, the runner knows what they did wrong.
Yeah,
they know that they didn't space it right, or
there's no surprises here.
It's just like, well, I mean, I have to do this maybe 120 times perfectly, and I messed it up once. It just happens.
Yeah, and again, as we said earlier, these runners have only got 5 iframes to dodge all of these attacks with, rather than like double of that.
We are seeing Corazza go through one of the nastiest areas in the game, and he actually just run at one of these enemies and mace them down. I do not know just how brave you have to be to do this. Like, this is like charging at a bear with your bare hands. These guys are nasty. They are relentless. Stunning them is difficult. They attack super quickly. They move in water that slows you down at max speed. I would not want to touch them with a 5-foot pole. So the fact that Corazza is just dealing with them with his own hands instead of just using bow and arrow the way God intended, I don't really know.
No, I think
super brave.
These enemies are okay to deal with if you do have something like a lance or a spear or a halberd, something like that with a long running attack that can stun them. But a mace, no chance. I'm getting within, like, no way.
Fun fact for Corazza, while everyone else is kind of waiting, he's going through the Shrine of Amana, which is a really beautiful and horrible area. And that little area on the left is actually really convenient to step onto. Because if you step there, you have a good shot on a bunch of enemies coming up. But if you go there, it actually has a chance to trigger one of the random invasions. And I think this might be the only area in the game where you can avoid the random invasion by just staying out of a certain corner. Every other one, I think if you go through the area, you're just gonna eat it. So this is an area where if you try to find a funny angle, you could be punished. And I didn't know that for the longest time.
Yeah, I
Wait,
think there's is there
wait,
three?
hold up, hold up. What is Dolos doing? What are
Oh,
they?
there is a little strat here actually. If you just run to the back here, all the dudes sort of like just walk back.
No way, I didn't know that. That's really cool. So if you go to the throne room and then just check behind their thrones, you actually de-aggro the enemies and you can go by the arrows. That's cool. I didn't know that. That's really sweet. We saw LCorazza deal with more enemies close and personal. Really, really scary. Faint and Baryon, both probably about to wrap up what I think must be the final Rotten. What I hope is the final Rotten,
Oh,
really.
yeah, they must be getting there now.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we've got a couple more donos. If you wanna take those.
Why don't you thank the next two and I'll get the other two.
Gotcha. So we have the Forlorn Panda with a $20 donation. My donation has just invaded the stream. Look out! One of these runners is cursed by Panda, but thank you very much for the $20.
That's
And we've
wonderful.
got Jens, who says, "Oi, this is Elden Ring and or Scholar. Ots glad," with a
That
$10
makes
donation.
me so happy.
Jens.
Thank you so much, Jens. And to the list of thank yous goes King of Maxwell with his very generous donation. I'm watching at 160p. What's the total donated amount right now? At least $5,000. 5,138, which is insane. And it's no small part thanks to people like yourself. Thank you so much. And we also had an anonymous donator. Anonymous donators are, in my view, some of the sweetest people. They don't want the recognition. They are just that beautiful inside and out. Thank you so much, Mr. Anon or Mrs. Anon. Ooh, we see more close dodges. We've seen hundreds of these
I
already.
can't keep my eyes off of LCorazza's screen. This is the scariest part of Amana.
Oh, yeah. Here we deal with these enemies that I told you were the worst, but there's multiple of them. And he has aggroed many of them at once. What is he going to do?
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, what? What is he doing? He's beginning to believe. So you get them stuck on that little spot? That's brilliant. So funnily enough, that doesn't happen if you run further into that little corridor, but he found the one spot to get them glitched. That is news to me, by the way. Most runners that are not speeding through this do not mind using the bow and arrow, which you can normally use because you're higher level than this, to just shoot these guys in the head and deal with them one-on-one. That is actually very, very smart and quite brilliant. Unfortunately, this next enemy cannot be dealt with so quickly. It's a big mushroom spore emitting plant insect thingy, and you have to kill the big one. He doesn't even bother killing the small ones though. So it means he's probably gonna run through this area as well. Wow. Make no mistake though, Dolos is also running through a delicate area. And on the top left, you might see that Baryon just poisoned himself with his own weapon. By going to the DLC, he also is the only player with the Sanctum Mace, which allows you to poison yourself. And why would you want to poison yourself? Because it lowers your health to do more damage with a certain ring that they've all collected. So that's really interesting. Unfortunately, this bit does require a bit of finesse, and it seems LCorazza needs to eliminate at least a few of the enemies before going forward. I guarantee you, seeing how fast he's been doing this, if they are doing this, there's no other good way of doing this.
And interestingly enough, he picked up a green blossom earlier, which he's gonna eat on the way to yeah, he's gonna eat that right now on the way to the Demon of Song boss.
Ooh, really?
I suppose the invader gets quite close to you here, so he's just doing that for a little bit of an easier stamina management.
Yeah. Look at his stamina. Look how he doesn't get it to 0 because that would be terrible. But look at that attack. Ooh, 1 second longer, and you get hit there. And keep in mind that while he's going through that fog gate, no iframes. Now we do see the Demon of Song. Oh, look at that! But on Dolos' screen, we also see him deal with one of the 2 Dragon Riders, and the second one will be easy peasy. And now it's down to Demon of Song. This is a very unique boss that is covered in a resistant skin and only takes damage when his little head and hands come out. And that only happens briefly after every attack. So you need to be very careful because if you hit the hard shell, your weapon bounces off. And also, he can do very unpredictable attacks from point blank range, which I would be deadly scared of.
Yeah, that tiny little baby hop that the frog can do has ended many a run.
Yeah.
You can avoid it
Okay,
from
this
ever
is the
happening
dash. Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
stay a little bit away.
Do we know exactly what causes it?
Yeah, if you're standing quite close to Frog and he's sort of backed up against a wall, it seems very likely to do it then.
Ooh.
I think it can do it otherwise, but that seems to be the most consistent thing we found.
Okay, and with that goes the Demon of Song, which let's be honest, we have one hit, but this is still an absolutely pristine run otherwise. Very, very good stuff. Also, if I remember correctly, this enemy drops a weapon that is very useful, but can they use it at this level without a
No
certain ring?
chance.
It's impossible, right? There's nothing at all.
25 dexterity, I believe. You need.
25 was it? Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, he does drop a weapon that is unupgradable, but is actually very comparable to like, you know, fully upgraded weapons. So a lot of speedrun type runs will end with a player running that weapon, but I didn't realize it was that far in terms of dexterity. Damn. So it's completely out of the table. We see
Yeah, out of the
Dolos
question.
deal with the mannequin room perfectly.
Nice, very nicely. Yep, that's how you want to do it. I suppose I think we're gonna. Well, I'm not gonna say anything. I was gonna say I hope we have a good time with Baryon there because he picked up the stone ring, so that should be one of the few areas that makes a big difference.
Yeah. Oh, I regret to inform you, by the way, Pigeon, that Faint was not indeed on their last rotten.
Oh,
I think it's killing 6 or 7. I've lost count. We promise you, chat. This is the last one.
Yeah.
Everyone else is past it already. LCorazza very far past it. The other two friends a little bit closer. And Baryon seems to be eliminating enemies. They don't have the philosophy of like run past everything I can. Instead, everything that can be killed safely will be killed safely, and that is still very okay. By the way, this is still very very fast, especially for a level 1 run.
yeah. I mean, even if this was a normal run, this is still great pace.
Incredibly fast. Like for the record, when other no hit runners did normal no hit runs of Dark Souls 2, they easily took 2 hours, maybe even more.
Oh yeah.
Like
2.5, 3 hours.
easily.
Yeah, easy peasy. Yeah.
No problem. And we are poised to have at least one run be very close to 90 minutes, an hour and a half, which is like half of that. Very, very crazy.
I think if Corazza gets a really like good RNG on Thronies, I think we could maybe see like a 125.
Wow.
I think at this pace.
So there is a very nasty enemy down this hallway. Oh, that's really scary. Those orbs don't track you; they just go to the place where they spotted you, and that enemy needs to be dealt with. They go pretty slow, but
yeah,
this is a
that
bit
was
scary.
really close though.
Yeah, and careful because the moment you step into this room, a invasion can happen. Ooh, that's the second time we see a crossbow misfire. Last time it cost us a hit, sadly. We see Faint deal with the final rotten.
We can now have forgotten the rotten.
Look at the amount of souls that these players have, especially in the top left. 800,000 souls. If this wasn't a level 1 run, this guy would have like like one of his stats be maxed out already. He would be like 40 dex, 40 this, 40 that. It's actually pretty crazy. They're just sitting there. Oh my god! Dolos with the quick run.
Fighting?
Wait, he's not doing the setup. So wait, are we gonna see the non-AI fight? Oh, that's still a really close way to deal with it. Do we have another lightning up? Yes, we do. Okay, the AI might still be a thing. Maybe he's discovered a second way to do it. Oh, but that's the problem. If you do a roll attack, you can actually hit his shield, which is hard as nails, and your weapon bounces off. He did recover very well from it. It's sometimes very tempting to do a follow-up attack and then you get hit immediately. So very, very good. Excellent way of handling being close to this incredibly unpredictable enemy. And watch out, because this could be a different attack. It is a different attack! But he handled it really well, did an R2, and it's over. Well done. This actually wasn't that much shorter in time. It wasn't that much longer, but it was a lot harder and a lot more
Yeah,
unpredictable. Well done.
that was
A lot of
that was a
improvisation.
flex. That was a
Yeah,
big flex.
yeah,
That's
that indeed
huge.
was it.
There
I
was
don't
no
know if that was
backstep
the
though.
plan, but yeah.
No, there was no backstep.
Wait, no backstab? What joke am I missing?
Also, yeah, a couple more donos. We have a big $50 coming in from Figaro134. Thank you very, very much for that. It's much appreciated. Another donation from another anonymous person. Thank you for running this charity, Kind Souls. Thank you for donating and making this possible. And one more from Dolos' grandma, which says, "Go Dolos." Thank you very much, Mrs. Dolos. I
That
guess.
is amazing. We love to see the support. Honestly, sometimes we need to see runners have unlucky streaks and moments where we need to support them. But everyone's doing so incredible. It is amazing, and we still have 2 runs that are really, really far in and are still completely pristine, completely hitless. So here we're gonna see Baryon do the more natural approach of unlocking this bonfire for later, and probably he goes for the shield guy. Kills them immediately. That will open the door, and we're probably going to see a rest that will refill their HP. So the red tear stone was there just mostly for that.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's warping back to Majula first.
What are they going to do here? I wonder.
I'm not sure. I thought he would have just used the aged feather to reset the area, but it seems like oh, he got the chunks from the lizard, of course.
Yeah, it's yeah, he hadn't upgraded his weapon yet. That's wonderful. And now we see Belstad, one of the coolest bosses in the game. This one is not as unpredictable as some of the other ones, and it's fun fact. It's actually one of the easiest bosses to parry in the game, but he has
Yeah,
quite a lot of HP.
not unpredictable, but high resistance, high
Yeah.
HP, and some nasty attacks with some dangerous hitboxes.
Yeah, at some point he just starts to flex and goes on his knees and buffs, and then he takes even less damage. We're doing insane damage, by the way. I think this is just insane damage. It's really surprising. I would not realize that this is a level 1 run.
No.
And he's almost
No.
gonna die during his buff. But yeah, his bell hits on this back. He has these swinging motions where an attack can hit you on the way back. That could have been a follow-up, and it looks really scary. But I guess the distances are very well measured by Corazza, who is about to just end this fight in such a clean way and
Very
almost
nice.
no like it's actually you can wait for some very safe attacks, but he punished absolutely everything. It is
Yeah.
much harder than it looks. I promise you.
And
It's
the look
really,
on
really
his face,
impressive.
he looks completely unfazed while doing it. He's no sign of strain or anything.
Right. So we see Dolos try to deal with these guys the way I would, which is to just shoot them with arrows in the Shrine of Amana. There you go, nice headshot. And Baryon just buffed him. Look how much ahead he's buffing. So he's gonna go into a boss fight in about, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. And this is across the entire castle. Oh, Forlorn invasion! It's like he knew. That's crazy. By the way, if a Forlorn spawns right on top of you, which can happen, it actually staggers you, and I guess we would count it as a hit. But I don't think that happened. I don't think
No.
that happened. Luckily, I don't think that happened.
Yeah.
So Baryon has a huge timer. If he stops even for a break, he's gonna get hit. And remember, you don't have iframes when you go into a fog gate in this game. And this might be the first time we get to see this fight from the very beginning. Very well handled. We're probably gonna see it shoot the second Dragon Rider that's sitting on top of this little balcony. That procs it to fall down. He still has bow and arrow. He needs to dodge one bow and arrow hit and dodge that attack simultaneously. Then he will look to insta kill it with just 2 hits. Impressive. No stamina used on dodging, which is really costly. Instead, we strafe around it, and now it's a 1v1. And this boss is a lot more forgiving. Still crazy though.
Yeah, plenty of strafes and even parries that you can land on this boss as well.
Mhm.
That make it quite trivial for a Dark Souls 2 boss.
And yet we got hit here the most, apparently, out of all the bosses back in the day. That's really fun to realize. But yeah, extremely well done. And mind you, this is a limited resource. Some of these buffs that you see these runners use, they only have a handful of them, and they cannot be bought. They're just limited, which means that if they made a mistake and they didn't kill the boss and they died, now they wouldn't have the buff. So that means that on this boss or the next, you don't have the buff and you don't kill it as quickly as you did. And now you have to deal with extra attacks, or you cannot keep an AI loop. So complications can multiply very, very quickly. Seems like everyone's doing a little bit of traversal. Everyone's in a really safe spot for the most part. So we could maybe focus on Baryon, who's doing this extremely sketchy Dragon Glade Castle part where they need to kill a mannequin in a particular part of the room. So we're going to kill the ghost. And now we need to somehow get this little mob onto that area. Very, very sketchy part. Oh, we see another. Oh, no, not again, not again, not again, not again. Oh, that's a situation where the Stone Ring definitely helps to make sure you stun them. Oh, damn. Yeah. The lock-on is very unreliable in this game, and sometimes you need to make sure that the enemies are like at the right spot.
Oh, he got unlucky with the soul. It went to him rather than to
No
the.
way! No way! It
Yeah.
didn't count. Oh, is that why he's
No.
looking for a second one? Nice.
Yep.
That was good. All right.
But yeah, he's got himself lined up a bit easier now. Free aim, and yeah.
These guys move so quickly, and oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Does the soul go to the statue? It does.
Yeah.
And that's that. Well done, though. Wow. So LCorazza is going through one of the later areas in the base game called the what is it called? Aldia's Manor, right? And it's
Aldia's
a
Keep,
very
yeah.
Aldia's Keep. It's really, really on rails, straightforward. You cannot mess it up. Has anyone ever been hit in a hitless run here?
Definitely, it has to have happened at some point.
Never, never. I doubt it.
I would just like to point out, I think we might be seeing a particular strat from Dolos here, which he didn't tell us about, but it's a strat that he came up with, so I'd be surprised if we don't see it.
From Dolos?
Yeah. So
have a look.
he might do it, he might not. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, that's a shame.
Okay, he's dealing with these really nasty guys in the normal way, which is just to pelt them with arrows.
Yeah,
Good
he's
enough.
dealing with this nicely. He has something called trigger skip where he's found a way where you can turn the enemies and like sneak past them. Those last two guys. Yeah, it's
Well,
something
we'll need to find some other time. LCorazza now dealing with the Guardian Dragon. He I don't know if that was on purpose, but he tried to hit the head and missed one attack, but the second one hit. Hitting the head does extra damage, and it's really, really nice. This enemy is extremely nasty. It's not really all that difficult, but because it flies constantly and it can hit you on its way up and has all these stalling attacks, it's honestly not a favorite. It comes at a point of the run where you're very fatigued and the fight getting longer and longer. Oh, this is a good tell, though. That is a long attack where he can go to town on his toes. Well done. That is good
nice.
RNG.
Yeah.
Not enough to finish it, but
that was well done baiting that out.
And I still I still feel like I don't fully understand this fight, and I just go with my instinct and go with what feels right. But it is a bit nasty. It is a bit nasty. It feels like if the dragon flies away, you want to follow it so it doesn't envelop you in flames, and if it goes up, then you want to go away. That's
exactly
always
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
Okay,
that's the whole fight.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing.
And we're getting two bosses at once here. It looks like we're gonna get Demon of Song plus Mirror Knight.
I think Demon of Song. Oh, okay. Well, try to split your eyeballs because both of these fights are interesting. Remember that the Mirror Knight has a bit of a setup that, if done correctly, can end the fight in one clean cycle. It still requires a bit of execution, and it is very flashy because you walk underneath him as he jumps into you. Before that happens, though, Dolos is very, very aggressive, punishing the attack from the little froggy. And we're going to see the Mirror Knight jump over our character. Buff happens, helps time, let him step, run into him, let him do the attack, run away, and now you go. You do any of that in any different order, it doesn't quite work. And I love to see that dodge that's just a strafe. It will be followed up by another lightning strike attack thingy.
Yeah,
and we're going to do the same thing.
This is flawless,
very
pretty
well
much.
Done. It's crazy.
One final attack, and there you go.
Ooh,
Clean.
There you go. That has a very misleading hitbox, so well done staying out of danger.
And yeah, we're gonna finish up Demon of Song. Yep.
And again, if you missed it the previous time, Feint is he's our slowest runner so far. He's about to go into the room with the 2 Dragon Riders. Remember, there's one of them in a little balcony with a bow and arrow, and one down. And if you don't deal with the bow and arrow one, it's a 2v1 fight. And it's pretty nasty. But the way it's handled is we hit them, this makes him fall, wait a little bit, and this is a critical moment. He needs to dodge 2 attacks. Oh, dear.
Oh,
Right underneath. Right underneath. Wait. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. No. Okay. So something must have gone wrong with the upgrades, the damage, the angle, the timing. Something must have happened because unfortunately the enemy survived with like a sliver of health, and this forced our runner to deal with 2 attacks at once. And let's be honest, every time that happens, it's a 50-50 you're gonna get hit.
yeah.
So
That's definitely a caster curse. That's all I'm saying.
this is I told you this is a difficult boss.
Yeah.
And our friend Feint had to just show it, show some respect.
Yeah.
Baryon's dealing with very aggressive denizens of the Shrine of Amana. You don't have to kill some of these, but it's also really scary to go past them because they become aggro when you go to a certain threshold. So it's a bit weird. Feint is now doing a very tiresome and annoying thing. He's jumping in and out of a hole to take a little bit of damage. Oh, there we go.
That was more damage than I thought, actually.
Yeah, that was gonna say, okay, I thought that would take a bit longer, but no.
Maybe
well done.
I think it must be jumping over the ladder. Jumping over the ladder.
Yeah,
boosts your height, maybe.
that extra pixel, yeah. Meanwhile, LCorazza is in one of the later stages of the game. He's now in the Dragon Shrine. In here, he's gonna find a big dragon and basically borrow his time machine to go back into the past. Why they're going back into the past, we'll explain when we get there. But he needs to get through a certain gauntlet of enemies. And there's a bit of a problem because if you run past these big armored dudes, everyone else in the shrine perceives you as a trespasser. They don't think you're worthy. So you have a bunch of NPCs, and I mean a bunch of NPCs, all come and kill you. So instead, we use dark arrows, which are the weakness, and just kill them like that, or dark bolts in this case.
Yeah, I believe Dolos said that the start of his crypt was going to be spicy, and he's just entering there now. By the looks of
Okay,
things,
yeah,
so...
I saw he didn't try to like kill the enemy there, and he's not killing these witches, which we saw happen earlier. Instead, he's just dodging like it's no big deal. Okay, all right, very interesting. So that first room is quite scary, and there can be an invasion there as well. So what's going to happen?
Very nicely dealt with. Very nice.
Wow. Yeah, not gonna lie, if I were at 0 hits that far, I would be a little bit scared to do that, but that didn't stop a runner. That's great. We see Feint. Ooh, yeah, I think I see the problem. He does take a little bit too long to kill him, but this time it was flawless. And before the other Dragon Rider could catch up, he's already dealt with the low HP one.
Interesting strat here from LCorazza.
I know this one.
You've seen this one?
Yeah, basically it's a very tricky one. I really struggle to do this. So he finds a little ledge that is really difficult to jump into. He does a very precise jump into it, and then he pisses off the dragon dudes. Now, the dragon dudes do not know how to get to that ledge, so they figure that the closest place they can do is just all group up in there. And when they're all in front of him, then he runs, and he runs past all of them. So yeah, it's like basically pissing off all of the police officers outside of a police station and then running into it when they've all come out. It's like a distraction of sorts, and it works flawlessly. That's perfect. Yeah, I do remember seeing this for the first time, and it was hilarious. I love it. Oh, and he starts to teleport right as he talks to the dragon to get the item. Very, very classy. Now, we did mention earlier that there's an NPC that shows up if you don't kill Lycia, and that's it. That's the NPC. And Dolos is going to kill it or run past it? It's hard to say. Oh, what's going on? What's going on?
Looks like a bit of a dance.
It's got a dagger, and it can attack really quickly. Miss crossbow. Oh, there you go. All right, so it seems like the NPC is killed, and now we are free to go forward. This is a nasty hallway, though, with some... Oh, you can get stuck here. I've had runs where I get stuck between these two dudes. Oof. And we see the perfect, flawless elevator of Drangleic being triggered. Wonderful. We see LCorazza. Oh, LCorazza's gonna take a shortcut. That's insane. Can we have a look at that full screen? Too late. No. Wow, look at that. So he normally would have had to go around and risk a forlorn and waste about, I don't know, 30, 40 seconds. But instead, he just lined up a couple things and just jumped with a bit of a speed run strat. That's crazy.
Oh, and there's a nice little RTSR setup as well. That's
Wow,
quite
is
cool.
that why he jumped there? That's crazy. Yeah, the last remaining bit of health, he lowered with that. And we see, ooh, Dolos with a very unique way to dodge that. Remember, almost no iframes,
Oh,
and these are
no.
very slow attacks with lingering hitboxes. Still, though, insane damage. Ooh, you need to dodge into the attack, or else it's over. And look at the follow-ups! But that's very well studied by Dolos, who takes advantage of that bad tracking. And this will not kill him, I think. Notice how much you need to wait for your stamina to go back, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Now, in this second phase, there is a new attack or two, so you need to watch out. Oh, look how close you come to that weapon. Ay, ay,
Oh,
ay, ay,
dear
ay.
God.
I'm suffering. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, he has a bunch of attacks that all look roughly the same, but that are subtly different, and it's very easy to mess it up. So,
Jesus,
props
man.
to Dolos, who's still on a flawless run, by the way. We also see that Corazza is about to go into the Lord of the Giants. This is crazy. He actually buffs after triggering the boss, and there's some ways to cheese this fight and make it much simpler. But I don't think he's doing any of that. He's just playing. He's just playing this like it's the normal giant. You
No,
can
and
tell.
that buff isn't 100% safe, by the way.
Yeah.
Even though his the trail from the giant lords hits the wall in front of him, sometimes just rarely that can actually go through and just hit you.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
it's a bit of a risky strat there to save a few more seconds.
Well, I don't know if he just knows something we don't, but I do agree that does seem unnecessarily risky, but it was completely fine. So by killing the giants, we actually inherit their hatred for the queen and the king, and with their hatred for the king and the queen, we can actually, defeat the king and also unlock the kiln after beating the queen. It's some low reason, but we need to go back in time and beat the giants up. And we also need to do the fourth Mirror Knight. Are we going to see the same strategy? This is the textbooks one. Let him attack, and then step back. Ooh, it's not happening. There we go. And there we go. That's the loop that we're used to. Very good dodge. That was super clean.
Yeah,
Great
this is
management of stamina. You can. Ooh, okay. Oof, that looked a bit on the edge of what's even possible. Keep in mind that if at any point he hits the big
Oh,
shield. Oh no. That is very unfortunate. Like it's really hard to explain it, but if
I
you
think
if,
that's, if anything, an elevation meme because he steps down the stairs
no
and
no way, you think?
I
Like
think it might be that it changes angle.
if you go back and watch that fight, you'll see that the first time he did it successfully, the second time he got hit. The difference is extremely minor. From what I saw, I think he stepped into the blade a bit too soon because you do like a little sidestep around it. It might have been a bit of impatience, but you wouldn't be right. I mean, you wouldn't be wrong if you mention elevation. It does sometimes change the way you get hit or you miss things. That's quite unfortunate. Now we're gonna see him climb this ladder to drop down and set up Red Tearstone so he can do the damage he's supposed to. But I don't know if this is gonna make the later fights harder.
Yeah, he used a bright
Ooh.
bug on that fight, so he's gonna have to do the same again if he wants
Yeah, if
just
he
a
wants to do
consistent fight.
he can either make this fight harder now by making it longer, or use another bribe book, and then he'll be missing one by one of the final fights. And it's not the end of the world if Nashandra's a bit harder, but yeah. Anyway, we see now what is possibly the hardest fight in the entire run. It's against the Throne Watcher and the Throne Defender. And Pigeon, tell us what makes this so challenging.
Oh, there is a long list of things that can go wrong in this fight. Stamina management is absolutely crucial. You've got to manage your space perfectly as well. There's really fast attacks, so your reflexes have got to be on point.
Mm, I'm suffering. Okay, so with his final dung pie, Corazza managed to no. Okay, so there is the consequence
Oh,
of what we've been telling you guys. The low iframes means that any dodge needs to be I'm not gonna say frame perfect, but it needs to be almost frame perfect. And unfortunately, he dodged. He did just fine for a normal run, but in this one, he needed to dodge a tiny bit later, and that will
Yeah,
mean
I
he has to
believe
try again.
the main strat for thronies on SL1 is just to outspace them.
Yeah,
There's not many attacks that can catch you if you just run in a straight line away from them. The Watcher's poke is one of the only ones that you just have to roll for extra distance.
yeah.
And I think that's what Corazza was going for, but he just got cornered. So
Oh, he's taking some
oh,
risks with
and
that.
Baryon got hit by the baby hop, the
No
baby jump
way.
from Demon of Song. Yeah.
The one we were just talking about. We might need to see a clip of that later, but as we mentioned, the Demon of Song has a very unreactable attack that you need to expect at any moment. Because when he looks like he doesn't know what he's about to do, he can just jump into you, and it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it will count as a hit. Dolos has dealt with the Guardian Dragon beautifully, and now remains our sole hitless so far runner. But back to
All I can say
Corazza's
is
fight, yeah.
it's a very good thing that grabbed the bonfire here. Otherwise, he'd be doing the entirety of
Oh my god.
Amana and Drang
Yeah.
Lake and everything again. So
Oh my
a
god.
very good decision there.
That would be really rough actually. And I imagine it would throw also a lot of problems into your resource management. Like you might run out of things. So this is a fight with two enemies, and they are very, very annoying. Both of them have shields that they can put up. As you saw, our friend Corazza used all of his poison items, so he no longer can poison them. Poisoning is incredible because they don't have a lot of HP, so it's an amazing way to do damage.
Mm.
And the main gimmick, other than having one that's strong and one that's fast, and the fact that they can hide behind each other, other than dealing with all their attacks, the main gimmick of this fight is that when one of them reaches 0 HP, there's the shield, the other one will revive him. So you need to defeat both of them somewhat simultaneously. They both need to be at least low on HP, or else when you destroy one, it will be revived. And this can happen indefinitely. So you cannot just focus on one, you need to deal with both of them. That's the really nasty poking attack. The Watcher, which is the one clad in white, is a bit more agile. It can throw lightning, it can do nasty attacks from outside of your point of view. It can do little quick sidesteps, which I think you're about to see maybe in a second. And keep in mind that half of this arena has no edges. So not only do you need to mind what's ahead of you, you also need to mind your surroundings. You could very easily dodge into the abyss and die immediately.
Oh, I don't know where to look. There's 3 boss fights going on almost.
Oh, are there? Oh my god, yeah. Faint is back to Mirror Knight. Baryon,
Oh,
predictably. Oh, we had another nasty poke from the throne defender. And you can see that Corazza is so upset. He's had such an amazing run up to this point, but this is just such an unforgiving, challenging boss. It's quite unlike almost anything else in the run so far. Almost everything else, save for a few exceptions, it's very stable, can be learned. There's alternatives. If you don't like this boss, you can do another one. But not this. This is a boss that you have to do, and it will force you to improvise. There's almost no stability or predictability to it. And every time they die, they lose that one buff that they might not have anymore.
yeah. Corazza's holding his bright bug for Nashandra by the looks of things. He's
Yeah,
very, very patient with that.
Nashandra is the final boss, and she has her own challenge. It's not quite as tough as this boss, but it is difficult and inflicts a type of pressure in her own way. Faint is now looking for the right opportunity, I imagine, to go back and try the boss again. Did we catch how Faint died this time? I don't think I did.
It was just a similar, just slightly, just ever so slightly clipped.
That's unfortunate. So Dolos is inching closer and closer to the end of the
Yeah,
game, still hitless.
Dolos is looking good. I
Would you
think
like to know that you're the only runner in the event that still holds the hitless run?
I don't think so. I think if you
Yeah.
did, you'd probably take this as maybe a little bit slower. But
Hmm.
remember, he didn't pick up Stone Ring, so this enemy is going to be a lot harder to take on.
Oh yeah, you're right. Dolos has to deal with this dragon champion that barely reacts to being shot by the bolts. And Corazza definitely must be bitter with the previous attempts, and now we'll take this fight even slower. I suppose. Look at that dodge. That has to be unbelievably precise. And these two
Yeah.
are just relentless. They're just relentless.
Yeah. I think I would be in two mindsets here. It's, do I go really slowly to try and like
Yeah.
make it extra safe, or do I
Yeah,
go fast because
there's
I've
a
lost time?
problem.
It's
Yeah.
really a difficult decision.
You might be watching this and think, well, I kind of understand the attack loop of each of them. Why don't I just take it easy? Well, there's a problem. At halfway point, they start to buff their weapons and they become um, slightly more unpredictable. The defender drops his shield entirely and has a different moveset, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can super easily deal with everything. You have to keep a pace. And
Faint
normally
is
the
actually
Watcher,
out of the loop. He's just fighting Mirror Knight
yeah, and the Mirror Knight is actually
legit.
summoning an NPC. That's crazy. Is he gonna live
Oh,
though?
that's actually good. That's really good for him. He should be able to finish him off,
Yeah,
hopefully.
nice. So that's the Mirror Knight done for the fourth and final time. Amazing to see.
Nice, very good. I'm glad he managed to get past that, because
Yeah.
that was clearly a sticking point.
That's the kind of boss you don't want to get. Oh, we have yet another slightly, and I mean very, very slightly too early draw. And I feel so bad even talking about it because, like, I say it like I would do it any better, but this is honestly an extremely challenging fight to do at normal with normal stats, let alone level 1. As you mentioned, maybe the key for a level 1 is to manage your stamina even better and just out space everything. Do
Yeah,
not even
yeah.
try to roll through everything. At one point,
Same
of
as
course,
same as you do on the Rotten. If you
yeah,
can avoid rolling at any cost,
yeah.
I think it's well worth it.
These enemies can be defeated without even rolling, but it is very difficult. And at one
Yeah.
point, what's going to happen is one of them is going to go on your left, the other one's going to go on your right. The Watcher is going to do the little sidestep when they go further outside of your camera. And at that point, you're going to hear them start the attack, but you're not going to even be able to even see them. And then you have to react. And
I
then
don't know
it's
if you saw, there was a run that was done recently, actually, for Dark Souls 2 SL1, melee only, no hits, no roll,
I might
no
have
roll,
heard of it.
melee only.
That yeah, the biggest question is how the hell do you deal with Shrine of Amana?
Oh,
How do you deal with
very,
maybe
very
some other
dangerously.
areas? And then yeah, this fight. I mean, I've seen Hob do this fight melee only, even when he had bow and arrow. So like I know that some people have the grit and the pure cold
But
blood to just be like, I'm gonna dodge, 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 dodge.
no, but odds, it was melee only, no roll.
What? Damn.
Yeah, it's
Um,
a pretty sick run. I can't lie.
Okay, well, if after the event you want to have a playlist, I'm sure our friend Pigeon is gonna link us up. But that sounds amazing. Yeah, no, that sounds absolutely ridiculous. I've done no roll this game,
Mhm.
but not at level 1. What the hell? That must have made the fight so unbelievably long. We see our second, I believe, Lord of the Giants, Giant Lord, coming up. LCorazza on his third attempt at the Throne Watcher and Defender, who have lived up to the reputation of being the hardest boss, maybe the hardest thing in this run period. It really doesn't help that they're at the end. Ooh, look at those dodges. And keep in mind, this stamina regeneration is much better than normal thanks to the Chloranthy ring that I'm pretty sure our friend is wearing. Without it, it just would be even hard. What? That was unbelievable. That didn't even touch him. Someone get the referee. That was not okay. Oh my god. I've been defending this game this whole evening. I saw that with my eyes. That did not hit him. That did not. Oh my god. Okay, well, that rusty sword apparently has a shockwave around it. There must be some lore reason. But that looked unbelievably unfair. Oh my god. No. And the thing is, these are not things that you'd realize unless you play at level 1 or you don't level up adaptability. When you play normally, some of the very janky and strangely lingering hitboxes just don't feel so bad because you have normal iframes. Damn. Very clean traversal from Baryon on the crypt. That was really, really cute. Now he's in that final stage.
Again, I really don't know where to watch. It's all popping off.
Well, Baryon, I think is gonna. Are they gonna kill the enemies that appear here? No, they're buffing before the big run up, so that means that they're gonna YOLO it a little bit. And this, if I remember correctly, in the Scholar version, spawns a bunch of enemies. And I wonder why he has bow and arrow here. This is interesting.
We're going to see a dual thronies here as well. Both Dolos and Corazza going back into the fight here.
Dolos is actually caught up. That's crazy. They're both opening the door at the same time. One of them on their 4th attempt, I believe, at these extremely sketchy and tricky boss, and the other one first time, and still hitless. And in the meantime, while they go through the Throne of Want, we see Baryon very slightly misplaced, but very good punish for Belstadt. And I think he is dealing a little bit less damage than his friends. Remember that we mentioned that he is probably shorter on resources because he had to use at least one extra, right? If I remember correctly, where did Baryon get hit?
Baron's hit was
I don't remember.
It was Demon Song. Demon Song.
It was the small. Yeah, no, that didn't kill him, did it?
Yeah. He's died to Demon Song. Yeah. So
okay. Then I don't know if it's by lack of resources or because he wanted to save it, but he's doing a little bit less damage, so you might see a bit more movement, more moves from Belsa phase 2.
I think we need to go big screen for Dolos here. Coming in with a clean run, still hitless on the final bosses. I think that's warranted. And we're gonna see how Dolos deals with them. You'll see the damage is higher here because Dolos has a raw crossbow, which is extra damage, and he's also using the Bright Bug.
Yeah, making
use of auto sprint as well on Dolos. He's
really?
toggling a button to just make this outspacing slightly easier.
Wow, is he playing on mouse and keyboard then?
No, you can rebind. You can rebind L2 or something if you'd like.
I don't think I've ever done that myself. That's really interesting.
Very clean Velstadt from Baryon there, by the way.
Well done.
I know we're overlooking that with the Thronies fights, but yeah, very cleanly done.
Yeah, and that was harder than some of the other ones because it took so much longer. So we see Dolos do a great job of like try to bait each of them individually. The thing about this fight is that if you wait for them to attack, they will do it at their own pace. You actually kind of want to run into their aggro range so that they are baited into doing an attack and you can somewhat control the pace of them. If they both happen to attack you at the same time, it can be really nasty. Don't forget that the Watcher, the one clad in white, has a range attack. And sometimes this attack can be done from behind the defender. So you might not even see it coming unless you pay attention. There it is!
Right on cue.
Ooh, it's a really rare one too. It's easy to forget.
Did you know that Watcher actually has an AoE attack as well?
Yes, but I think it's only when she buffs. That's why you don't see it ever. So I believe she can only do it after she has she's engulfed her sword in lightning. And I say her, but we really still debate the pronouns of these characters all these years. Nice. Very, very good. This is a extremely, extremely well done fight so far from Dolos.
Yeah, both runners very patient here. My only concern at the moment is Corazza's supply of bolts is running a little bit low after these 4 attempts now. Yeah,
they should have bought 1 million of them from the ghastly ghostly.
Yeah, from Wellager. That's
Wellager.
I assume that he just thinks that's a bit of a time loss, if anything.
Yeah, I guess he must have skipped that or didn't buy enough. Well, interesting. I hope it doesn't come to bite him. Either way, it shouldn't be a game-changing thing, but we see a bit more of that auto. I'm really not doing it. We see those dodges, they need to be so precise. Luckily, the defender is a bit slower, but it's the fact that he's so slow that gets you because you will dodge, like you will try to use the timing of one onto the other, and no, you need to treat them differently, really.
Yeah.
The best thing that can happen is that the Watcher does the little backstep, the little somersault back, and that gives you a bit of time to get a hit on either of them. Oof, this is
I'm holding my breath here.
Yeah, every time those little dashes come. And look how often we see their shield up, by the way.
Yeah, and that is like a 80-90% damage reduction, so it's
Yes,
really
and
just a
it
waste of
also
time.
completely kills your ability to build up poison, which so far we haven't seen ever since Corazza lost his poison dongs. But if you bring poisonous arrows, which is a really good strategy for this, you might run out of them if they block enough of them, and the build up will dissipate, and it's really really bad. So it can
Yeah,
this fight just
unfortunately,
gets on your nerves.
unfortunately, in this game, there's no poison bolts. There's only poison arrows.
Yeah,
So we have to, if you want to poison something in this game without using dung pies on SL1, without
yeah.
any extra gear, you have to use the normal bow, which you don't have stats for,
You don't
which
have
makes it
stats for it. You don't have.
super slow. It
This
makes
is
it
okay.
so slow.
We've seen like three different things from Dolos that were incredible. On the one hand, he himself runs into the throne defender to bait an attack before it's too late. Then we see the Watcher do a sidestep, and he handles that marvelously. Then the Watcher jumps over, and he is smart
He
enough to
runs into it.
improvise and run through it. It's so many decisions all done perfectly. It's really really difficult. We have another range attack. Ooh. Now the Thunder doesn't have a shield anymore, but is a bit more aggressive.
Oh, poison knives? Yeah, poison knives would work.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's very few of them. They have bad tracking and they're extremely slow. So watch out. They also don't do
Yeah,
any normal damage. Oh, that was tough. Oh, the little strafes.
incredible.
Oh,
Incredible. Jesus.
yep,
I don't know if that was planned, but it definitely looked good.
yep. Well
Corazza's
done.
finished with a fight. Let's
Yep,
see.
we see Corazza in the final boss, by the way, which we're gonna
He's gonna
see
run
also.
forwards a little bit and bait Nashandra's laser, and then
Yeah.
just start peppering her with arrows and hope that she comes in close.
So can you explain to us, Pigeon, why he's not getting super close to the boss, even though she's pretty slow and doesn't have a lot
Yeah,
of attacks?
the giant orbs there. There's no way to make them deal no damage apart from by destroying them, and you can't destroy them without getting into range. So there's nothing you
Yeah.
can do but run away.
Yeah. So essentially, around those little darkness orbs, just picture a huge area around them, and if you get close, it's like you're being set on fire. You just take constant damage. It's been agreed upon that that counts as a hit because it's avoidable. So you need to actually lure Nashandra out of her spawn space into your area, which is sometimes a bit claustrophobic, and then fight her here. And watch out because she can reset the orbs around her. She can sometimes like choke you out of options, and it can feel a bit bad. But he's dealing with this super well, and her health is really really low. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Dolos is, I think, like very meticulously getting both of them so low on HP. It should really be in the bag, but we'll see that in a minute. Very nice. Throwing. Do we see Nashandra set new orbs? Is she gonna do the
Yeah.
animation? Yep, that's
Yep.
exactly right. But she's probably gonna die before she can be finished. He needs to mind his distance a bit. Make sure you don't take damage there. And that's Baryon
And there she
Nashandra
goes.
done with 3M. Let's go.
Very
Beautiful stuff. And hello, mom. And can we
knowing
can
Corazza, he's not going to be happy with that run. He doesn't look super impressed. But
nah,
I know he holds himself to a very high standard on these runs, and I would have put money on him getting an amazing run. Which I shouldn't take it away from him. This is
look
still
at
fantastic.
how close these two were. Normally you can leave a little bit of HP on the second one, and you have plenty of time to beat him up or before the other one can be revived. But damn, that was very meticulous. And Dolos is now just a minute away. Wait, he's gonna shoot Nashandra before she spawns? Oh! Do you see that?
the BM shots,
Yeah.
nice.
Okay. So now we get some buffs and we start shooting like it's a Call of Duty game. We need to get Nashandra out of her little area. Funnily enough, this is one of the few areas where if you have the stone ring, I think it might be bad because you don't want to stun her. You actually want her to come to you. So I don't know if he's got it equipped or if no, Dolos didn't even get it. So it's not. I guess it's not an issue at all. But sometimes that ring can backfire. Oof. Ooh. We now get really, really close. Nashandra's not particularly weak to anything we do, and she's quite tanky. Once you're close, I think she has 2 attacks, a big one that is very telegraph, and one that is 3 swings back to back. She then has the laser in front, the laser sweep, and maybe a little explosion, and then again setting up the AoE pillars that deal curse and damage. That's all she does. Is there any other move to her? I don't remember. When she does that little motion, that means that she's resetting the orbs, and that area is no
Yeah,
good. There's only one orb. What? I've never seen that.
she has the AoE attack when you get close as well. I don't know if you mentioned that one.
Yeah, the little explosion,
Yeah.
which is similar to the rotten. But all of them are really, really easy. The hardest part of this fight is minding your back, not getting squished against something, minding the distances, and not getting hit by the orbs. They don't have that big of a range, but because it's invisible, it is very intimidating. You really don't know how close you are to the edge. Oh, luckily these are very well telegraphed, and that will be Dolos with a perfect, very, very speedy level 1 on Dark Souls 2, no less, hitless run. What an incredible performance. Damn. Meanwhile, though, while we watch the credits, we have to. Ooh, damn it! Caster Curse again. Faint Figure is going for a speedier approach to getting through this area. Unfortunately, he did get a little slash in the back from one of these enemies, showing just how difficult it is to do this. And I believe Dolos, we watched them go through here. It's not easy, and there's plenty of risks. Baryon used the range weapon to get rid of the little champion, and now he should be able to go through the rest of this dragon shrine, no problem. So we don't have to worry about his side of the screen for a minute. We could go full screen on Feint and see how he deals with this next bit. Has there been any other discoveries, Pishan, that you've noticed around this area or nearby that I might have not heard of since?
On which area? Sorry, on Crypt.
Around the endgame of Dark Souls 2.
I don't think there's much that we haven't seen. I think most strats have been showcased here.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so-
a really interesting one. Instead of killing the Black Witch, we see her just basically miss the attack, and oh, it's a Forlorn in such a tight spot too. No. Okay, so the Forlorn has a scythe, and he can do a jumping attack. He can do a relatively slow attack, but they can also do this incredibly nasty multi-spin attack. I would be so scared to run through him. Like faint ditches here, that would be really, really it would really suck the breath out of your lungs. That is super, super scary. Oh man. And of course, that means no break, no reset, no upgrade if there were any needed. He has to go. And if at any point he needs to catch a break, the Fallen will probably catch up. So we gotta go. Ooh, spooky. Watch out, that can hit you through the wall. And we see our final bell stat of tonight. Wait, is it me or is Faint's splits all wrong? He's still a Dragon Rider.
Oh
in his
yeah,
screen.
he must have reset it after Mirror Knight.
Oh no!
I would assume.
Okay. Excellent spacing. It's funny because Faint with other bosses was very keen on dodging through, but this is just a boss that you do not want to do that. You can dodge into an attack and then get hit when the bell like swings all the way around. You know, that's a really interesting way of punishing that. That attack where he pokes the bell forward, you can typically strafe and just get behind him, which is pretty safe. But I never thought of just going through the hitbox as soon as the attack is over. Kind of funny the way he just waltzes through it. And now Baryon is also about to do the Giant Lord. Ooh, this is definitely the weakest Bellstat so far in terms of damage output. Look, he's actually like
Yeah, he's got no RTSR,
yeah.
no buff for his weapon.
It's completely fine, but it's doing like I don't know, like a quarter or a fifth of the damage that the other runners were. No, that is
Ooh.
not an attack you can roll away from, sadly. Definitely not at this level. That is quite unfortunate. And will be another hit for Team Mods, but we'll have some ace up our sleeve, so we're gonna be just fine. Baryon, Faint, I imagine, is gonna need a minute to get back to Bellstat. And Baryon is about to reach this fight. Watch out, this is nasty as well. There you go. You could be hit by an explosion. And Baryon seems to be doing the cheesier of the strategies, which is to get on this little platform and just pelt the boss with dark arrows, which are his natural weakness. It takes a little while, but it's pretty safe, and he only does 2 attacks. A little slam down with the sword. That looks scary. Apparently it can be strafe. And a slash that's more horizontal, and you need to dodge through that one. You can even backstep through that one. Another thing we didn't mention, because it's not been very relevant, is that backsteps in Dark Souls 2 have iframes, and I'm pretty sure most of the other games that's not the case. So you can backstep through some of these attacks. Unfortunately, the backstep rolls are also tied to adaptability. So I'm pretty sure that if you don't level up, if you're level 1, your backsteps also have like no iframes either. So we're not gonna see anything flashy like that. Good dodge though.
No, I would hope we don't get anything like that. It's too
Yeah.
scary. I don't know if my heart could take it.
Um, in the meantime, Faint is back to Bellstat, and he's gonna do just as little damage as before. This is gonna take a very long time. Keep in mind, this is a very slow, very low reach weapon. So your windows of opportunity to land hits here and there are very narrow, and you can never do charge attacks. Well, there's no charge attacks. You can never do strong attacks, and this is a really interesting thing that we hadn't seen yet. Basically, if by the time he does the little backstep, you're too far, he actually runs at you. I hadn't seen that in a long time because normally no hit runners are just so aggressive and close.
Yeah, it's a really nasty attack to dodge. I think. I think the charge is probably the worst one, if you were to ask me.
Yeah, because anything that's less common than others, I think will be harder to dodge just because you're not quite used to it. So Dark Souls 2, I don't know about you, but I still feel like even after playing it 1,000 million hours, there's still a lot of attacks that are super rare that happen very little, like the one you mentioned earlier with the Watcher doing an AOE attack. So that the last thing you want to do in a hitless run is just go against an attack that you've never seen before. That's very well handled. We're gonna see the buff. Unfortunately, he takes very little damage during this, and after 3 hits, look at his stamina. He's completely out. So he could only get about 6 hits, 7 now. And watch out, that's an attack.
Oh
Were you suffering? Do you think he would get hit? Oh, I do
no!
see it. He did
Uh,
get hit.
I
No.
think I'm.
Oh no. Was it the exact
That's
same forward attack?
yeah. He got he jumped by mistake, I assume.
Yeah.
If that's a roll, he dodges that every time.
Oh no. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it must just be the pressure, holding the controller a bit too hard, that kind of thing. Just
Yeah.
palms sweaty, that kind of thing.
So in this game, unlike in Dark Souls 3, this was the first game where you could push the left thumbstick, right? And that would do a jump, which is default. And
Yeah,
it's very convenient because you don't need to let go of the wrong button. So it's a very good thing. But it does lead to situations where you tense your grip on the controller and you accidentally jump. And if you jump, you have no iframes whatsoever, and you're at the mercy of whatever attack is coming at you. So Feint is going slightly hollow, understandably, after being in such a tough fight, but I'm sure they'll find their courage back to end the run. Meanwhile, Baryon is on a, by the way, extremely clean still run.
yeah,
Up to the final bosses, we now have Nashandra and the very troublesome throne duo, and it's just such a shame that one hit really was nothing. It really was nothing.
yeah.
Like it
It's
was
just
such an
bad
easy thing to be
RNG.
hit by. It's such a stupid thing. So I think Baryon deserves so much credit here. This was an incredibly good run. And I still hope it can be ending on a one hit, which would be really, really good for, I believe Baryon is from Team Hop. So they must be very, very happy now to see this incredible result. Again, we're gonna see two simultaneous boss entrances. And I'm not really sure which one's gonna be faster. On the one hand, Feint has so little damage output that it's gonna take a while, but Baron's dealing with these two guys. And we'll see if he also lowers their HP more or less evenly, or if he leaves a bunch of HP on one of them. There are some AI tricks you could do on the second enemy to prevent them, to keep them constantly stuck in
Oh,
attacking you.
yeah, yeah, I
But
remember
no
that.
one's done that so far, I think. It
No,
is quite scary, to be fair.
yeah, it's quite risky, isn't it? I
Yeah.
definitely don't have the heart for that.
So
Not
say
this deep into a run.
yeah. So essentially, when you kill one of them, the other one will wait about 20 seconds, and then their AI will tell them to run at the partner and revive them. We see a missed arrow there, sadly. But if you get in their way, their AI to attack you will override it. So you could theoretically just keep them away and keep them making attack you. However, I think most of us are not brave enough to do that. It's very, very nutty. And if at any point anything goes wrong, then they go back. They go to summon and they summon each other back at full health. Bellstat is on his second phase, and we might see the rare AoE attack. Seems like this fight
Might be
is
a
in the
bit of a
pocket.
strat to bait that out, even.
Oh yeah, it is quite good. You can run behind him and get a few hits. He only does it when you're a bit far, I reckon. So we could have a look at Feint, see how it's handling that. See if he tries that. He's about 1/3 of the health. Oh, that attack is so scary.
Very nicely dodged.
Yeah, well done. These are scary because if you're close enough, they'll be followed up by an attack. He's like the way Feint is extremely comfortable with being close to the enemy and knowing when the active hitboxes happen and when you can phase through them is really, really impressive. I don't think I've seen anything. Well,
Oh, you had to
I,
say it, didn't you?
yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. For no particular reason, let's switch back to Baryon. Yeah, well, that is the unfortunate risk that you take when you play on such a fine line. Thank you, Oz. I'm so sorry. I'm pretty sure that by me saying that, I made the hitboxes like 10% bigger. So I do apologize. That was entirely on me. Baryon, though, is showing that patience, playing very much like Dolos and going more for the out spacing. Um, Absolutely no shame in just using the ranged weapon. It is so unbelievably difficult to get close to these guys anyway, let alone get close and attack. So, in my book, they're doing great. Baiting an attack on both of them, that's a perfect time to maybe get a hit in. Running into the defender to bait another attack. Nice. That can be outspaced. It's scary though. Perfect time to shoot after that. You see their synchronized side step. I think is always so cool. We see the Watcher buff. That's another time where we can get some damage in. Unfortunately, when the defender buffs, he gets rid of his shield, but when the Watcher does, the shield stays. So you still have to deal with that, which is really, really it gets under your skin when you've been fighting and making a lot of right decisions for like 2 minutes, and you only have a small opportunity to shoot, and then when you do, they take no damage, and they put their
Yeah,
shield up the moment you shoot. The crossbow in this game, I don't know if it's possible to see it just by visual feedback if you haven't played, but it's very slow. It's very
yeah.
slow.
Once you've fired, you've probably got what 2 full seconds where you just cannot do anything. You can't
Yes.
roll. You can't move. It's just you're just stuck
Yeah,
there.
just
Planted where
have
you
a
are.
just have a look at the next time Baryon shoots and just count the time since he presses the input. That's like a good 2.5
That's a
seconds at least. You can look at the controller on the left of the screen to see when he presses the right bumper thingy, and you'll see just how slow it is. Oh, thank you so very much to LCorazza, who did an incredible run and was kind enough to send their viewers over and grade us for this amazing, amazing event. Thank you so much. Oh, the American Heart Association's also here to say hi. That's lovely. We are hopeful that by tomorrow we'll have that goal smash. Thank you so much for stopping by. All right. Let's see. We have both of them very low on HP. This fight is looking good. Faint has to deal with Bellstad one more time. We are probably gonna see Watcher die first, and I'd love to see how the damage race part of the fight goes. At this point, they should be able to kill the defender before he can revive.
I don't know.
No.
That's still quite a lot of health considering
Yeah,
there's no Brightbug
yeah,
active.
yeah. The thing about this fight is that if you have any time buff, it goes away. It just doesn't
Yeah.
last long enough.
No,
So
the
he'll
only
want to
way you can
damage.
get real sort of value out of a buff is by just doing melee, and that
Yeah.
is not
And
comfortable.
even then, you have to wait for the opportunity. So that's Watcher knocked out. Defender with no shield because below 50%. And no, ooh, that would have hit. That would have hit. I'm pretty sure that would have hit if that roll wasn't precise. Unfortunately, Faint is still running a bit of a struggle boss into Belstad, who no doubt is starting to really piss him off.
Yeah, I can fully back that. When I was I did a this must be like a year and a half ago. I was
Mhm.
running on the Team Hitless Twitch, and the same thing happened to me. You know, you take a couple hits and you just spiral. It doesn't matter. You know,
Yeah,
everything goes out the window.
I don't
It's
know. I don't know why, but it's your first attempt. It's like so much easier because everything's going well. You have like the flow, the buffs,
yeah,
the health, the upgrades you want. But then the second attempt, it just becomes so hard. Look at that pre-shot arrow. That is ridiculous. Does that bring any real advantage?
extra damage.
I guess. I
I guess
guess.
it's
All right.
fast.
Sure. Okay.
Oh,
So.
this is gonna be beautiful.
Oh
Look at that.
no! What? Why would you do that? That's
Oh, the
insane.
flex.
That's insane. He shot her and made
No.
no. No. Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you what Baryon did here is perfectly normal, perfectly right. But again, the iframes. You have no iframes, so he got hit halfway through his rolls because he's level 1, and you are pathetic in level 1 in this game. Oh my god, that is just heartbreaking. I'm pretty convinced that there are some boss attacks that are straight up undodgeable. You know, if you try to dodge through the entire thing, they just last too long and the hitbox is too big, and you're 0. What is it, 5 frames? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so what is that in seconds if we're playing at if we're playing
Zero
at
point
6?
one six six or something.
Yeah, you're
I
one
don't
tenth
know.
of a
It's
second.
I
You're
don't know.
one
I
tenth of a
can't remember.
second.
I can look that up actually. Dark Souls
That's
2 agility.
okay.
I can tell you guys for
All
sure.
right. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
and actually that is correct. 0.1667. Yeah. So
Mom,
what's that? A
what
7?
does this button do? Oh, son, that button makes you invincible for 0.1 second. Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, it's so stupid. I feel so bad. Okay, so I think Faint has decided to call it a day,
Yeah.
saying that he
Mercy
reached
rule.
the maximum amount of hits. That is absolutely fine. It was still an amazing run with many exciting moments. So all of our money is on the back for Baryon. He had a beautiful run, a almost flawless run that was only now made a tiny bit worse by that very nasty hit. Uh, Luckily for you, this is an Elden Ring, and you don't have to defeat the Throne Watcher again. I feel like this
God,
if this was
imagine.
if this was Elden Ring, I feel like you would have to defeat the Watcher and Defender again, but you don't. So thank God that you don't have to do that. Now there's a bit of a problem, I think, if you don't run at Nashandra. If you don't run on Nashandra,
Mm.
she will instead kind of crawl towards you, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
those orbs will be much closer to you, which gives you very little space to actually dodge attacks. No way
Yeah,
he's
I
gonna do
mean,
this.
you've not got a
Okay.
lot of room even if you do run in, but yeah,
Yeah.
it really like suffocates you.
Yeah, the worst thing that can happen to you in this fight is that at some point in the middle, she is right dead on the center. She, oof, very brave. She sets the orbs right on the middle, and then you have like only one tiny, tiny
Oh, that
little.
is beautiful. The distance that Baryon kept from Nashandra there was absolutely perfect.
Mhm.
You can bait the laser by standing just that distance away. Any further, she
Really?
starts to walk. Any closer, she wants to walk in closer and do a
Wow.
melee.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's
Yeah, he is
it's
getting this consistently.
it's
Wow.
pretty good. Yeah, it's not 100% consistent, but it's up there. It's up there.
Wow. Are we gonna see it happen a third time? No, she's
Resummon.
setting up the new orbs. Damn. So as you can see, this happened pretty far into our corner, so it's not a big deal. But again, this fight, I don't know how many runs you've seen with Nashanda. I bet you have seen a lot, but
Oh,
it gets really tense. Okay, this is dangerous, dangerous. Well done. He found the one middle ground where he's not gonna get hit by either thing. Excellent job. I really love the flex though of shooting
yeah,
the
that
ball
was
to dodge. That was incredible. Yeah, we didn't
that's a
really
great
get to
moment.
explain it, but when she did the spinning laser, he hit her, and that moves her character, and that made the laser go up and miss entirely. That was so cool. Are we gonna see it again? Nah, there's no need to. Just watch out. Don't get hit by the curse orbs. Lovely. Oh, by the way, I think this might have happened to me. In a tournament run like this, I think I got hit by Nashanda's orbs after I kill her. I think that can happen as
Oh
well.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
I remember that actually. That was
Yeah,
really rough.
if you kill her during the animation of setting up the orbs, they will still appear. And is that it? Is that it? Ooh, damn, delicate situation. Hold up. Please don't let that happen again. She's gonna put the orbs. Okay. Okay, so this is what I did wrong. In this situation, I killed her and the orbs hit me and I died or took damage. And I wanted to cry. But our friend Baryon is much smarter. Instead, left the area, put the last bolt in Nashandra, and that is the final run for today for Dark Souls 2. Which honestly, after today, I'm not so sure is the best game in the series anymore. But still, a good contender.
Definitely one of the games of all time, you would say.
And and a 2-hit run is still mad impressive. So shout outs to everyone that participated. Shout outs to absolutely everyone that witnessed this, and also a couple words of kindness to some of our latest donators. We had Coffee Hero with a $50 donation. That is mad generous. Thank you, Coffee Hero 1776. GG's Dolos and others. Thank you so much. Another incredibly kind anonymous soul that donated $50 as well. Thank you so much. And Horolu, a few minutes ago, also donated $1. Thank you so much. A heart is warranted with strength. Thank you so much to everybody. It's been a pleasure, Pigeon. Thank you so much for
Pleasure's all mine.
casting this with me.
Pleasure's all mine. I'm not trying to involve anyone else in this, but personally, I'll be donating another 50 for every hitless run that we've seen today. So I'll be sure to do that later on. Thank you
That
guys for casting earlier on.
wonderful.
Absolute legend.
That's fantastic. I will try to move my own community on my streams to see if they are down to help. Last few years they were, so we hope to put a bit of
Yeah.
money into the cause as well.
Last year, I believe you were our biggest donator, actually.
That's I do have a very very generous community. So and we don't do a lot of events every year, so I owe it. We owe it all to them. Seriously. And yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I'm sure our organization will tell us all about it. But if you didn't catch it, there is a lot more hitless games coming tomorrow, right?
That's right.
This is true.
Why do you sound so sad about that, did I?
What's up?
Why do you sound so sad about that? It's because we're not getting any more DS2 action?
I'm just absolutely drained. I'm saving my energy for tomorrow.
Well, you do that. I'll be taking my leave, guys.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure.
Thanks for the commentary. That was great.
It was awesome, dude. It's great to see it. I hope next year we can do something just as special, even more special. Thank you so much.
Enjoy your night.
Sure.
Be seeing you guys.
All right. See you around.
Bye.
Thank you.